So I'm going to have to read up on that. I like that suggestion for sure.
The Navy has been stepping on it because, one, they're in cahoots with the oil companies, and if the Navy wants something, by all means, give it to them. But India and China, we share this technology. They now have their plants online. They work fine. Again, it's a win-win. Anywhere we have a pile of nuclear waste that we're paying to guard, we can now take the fishing rods, throw them in the pool until they turn it to lead, then take them out, put a new one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, look, I'm sold. I'm sold, Steve. I'm there. Now, look, my boss, John Katsimatidis, might not like you bad-mouthing the oil industry, and I certainly won't. I won't stand for it. I won't stand for it on my watch here on the other side of midnight. No, but I mean, look, there's always emerging technology. Obviously, I think any New Yorker would be open-minded and cast a curious ear to a suggestion about how to get the subway running better, more efficiently. And if a molten salt nuclear reactor is being used to get me uptown, downtown, out to Queens, out to Brooklyn, whatever it may be, I'm down. Hey, thanks for listening to The Other Side of Midnight. We're here every weekday on Red Apple Audio Networks. I'd like to thank Elias Raff, Matt Blaze on the other side of the glass. Thankfully, nothing, we got through it okay, right? Because otherwise, we might be saying, wait a minute, radar comms, Matt, what we might be saying, dude.
What the hell?
What the hell, dude?
I got to take off for 3 weeks.
No. That's not allowed. Not in this business, because we're traumatized all the time. James Flippin, The Other Side of Midnight. Get me on Twitter at X James Flippin, Flippin' Out Radio on Instagram and TikTok. And as we always say, heaven's very good.
FM 104.5, K2A3CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
Good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 6 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950, KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills, Chris Quant, with you here, holding it down. Beautiful Studio A, gorgeous. Looking outside at another beautiful day today, another beautiful spring day. We'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root, as we do, to find out what our official weather forecast is looking like today. But I hope you're having a good day. You're up early today. And why do you feel like you're up so early? Well, maybe because it's light outside. It's nice outside. Producer Adam apparently taking the week off, but producer Shane is back in this morning. Shane, good morning. How are you? Oh, hang on. Let's get your microphone. Maybe try again. Oh, that's fun. Did we not turn that on? Now nobody's going to believe that producer Shane is here. All right, let's try one more time.
I'm doing well, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, that's apparently the microphone isn't doing well. Switch over. Turn on the other microphone there. Let's see if we can turn on host A there. And how about that?
Good morning, Chris. That working?
Wow. This maybe it's just this channel is just really not wanting to come through. Let's try one more time.
Good morning.
Nobody's going to believe that you're here, but you're here. Good morning. Good morning, Shane. Come over here. Come over to this studio. Come over to Studio A. One way or the other, we'll get this to work. Good morning, producer Shane.
Good morning, Chris.
Oh, there we go. All right. The mics have decided just to take the morning off, and let's do that there. People will believe that you're here. You got to believe me, honestly. All right, so let's try this again. Producer Shane, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so all right, well, that's the start of a day. It's early. It's in the morning. Everything's still warming up here a little bit. Okay, so I got a question for you. You heard of this Real ID thing?
Indeed.
Do you do much flying at all? Do you have to fly for work at all, or much at all?
Once or twice a year.
Okay, yeah. Is that something that you've decided? I'm going to do that, or no, I'm not going to bother with it right now?
I decided to do it.
Oh, you did it. Okay,
Yeah.
So you've got it ready to go. So if you have to get on a domestic flight, everybody, today is the day. This Real ID. Do you realize when they first started talking about the Real ID, when this first proposal came into effect, or they first started talking about it, was
It was like after 9/11, I believe.
2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2000. It's been 20 years. How do I know that? I got married in 2005. I just had my 20th anniversary. Thanks, producer. Oh, yeah, he's not here today. Yeah, 2005. They've been doing it, and it has been pushed back multiple times. And now it's finally here. Although they're saying, Homeland Security is saying, you'll still be able to fly after additional identity checks. I don't know what those additional identity checks are. And a passport or another TSA-approved form of ID will also get you through the gate. So I'm guessing... Well, with the kids, we used to have like the birth certificate. So I'm wondering if the birth certificate would probably be one that they would have.
Should still be good.
Yeah,
I believe.
and I don't know what the additional identity checks are going to be. Like, I don't know, bring your PG&E bill with your address on it. I don't know what they're going to do for additional identity checks or feats of strength, something that'll try and get you through. But
funnily enough, actually, years ago, drove from Vacaville to San Francisco Airport.
Yeah.
And my wife forgot our ID.
Oh, no.
And I just happened to have a mortgage bill in my backpack. And that actually was, it had my name and her name on it, and that was enough to get her through.
That worked.
Shockingly, yeah.
Really?
Now, this is about 15 years ago. But
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if it'll, do it now. Do you do the pre-check at all? Have you ever done?
I do. Oh, that saved my tail a couple
That,
times too.
that is... I don't ask for much in the world, but having the ability to hit that pre-check, if you don't travel a lot, it probably doesn't make a huge difference. We were at, I don't know if you've ever flown through Denver, but my gosh, the lines, the TSA lines in Denver are, it makes your head spin how long the lines can be. And we were traveling as a family. I had TSA. My wife does not. She doesn't fly that much. But the boys could go with me. My kids could come with me through pre-check because they're young enough that they could come through. So I was like, all right, hon, well, you wait here. Me and the boys were through in like 5 minutes. It was great. Meanwhile, she's in a line that's backed up to Boulder, I think. And but she loved it because I got loaded up with all the bags, so she didn't have to take any bags through it. So I had all the bags with me. I had the children with me, and she's like, that was great. I love staying in line. I was checking my phone. I was responding to some messages. She's like, I didn't have any. We were there plenty early. So she's like, this is great. I'll stand in this line for a couple days. You take the kids. And so the boys and I were standing there just watching everybody come through and take their shoes off. And they're like, Dad, why are they doing all that? I was like, because they didn't do pre-check, son. That's the beauties of I don't know, paying money to have the government investigate your background. But it is fun, especially if you're running a little bit late. No, okay, so I've got to ask you. I have coworkers. I am not this person. Are you the one that gets to the airport like good and early, wants to give yourself plenty of time, or are you the one that just kind of rolls like, I've got an assigned seat. I'll get there when I get there. Or somewhere in between.
Usually like to get there early.
Okay.
Although last year I made the mistake of, we'll be fine, and missed the flight. And that made for a very stressful day.
That's a stressful day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to catch a cruise, so got a different flight to a different airport, $200 taxi ride. Her bag made the plane, but mine didn't. I ended up calling my aunt in the other city to pick up her bag.
Oh my gosh.
It all worked in the end, but it was really stressful.
That makes it stressful. Was it just we left too late? Because the thing that'll catch you out is not finding a parking space. Like
that's exactly what it was.
That's exactly
the long-term parking at SAC.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, there's days where I've shown up where I've just cruised right on in, and then there's other days where I'm like, I don't know if I'm and you're circling and the stress is just mounting.
Absolutely.
And you're getting further and further. I think after a day of travel, we should get an award. Let's just give ourselves an award for getting there with all this. I don't know. Maybe as a parent, it's you're trying to get everybody out. You're trying to get all the luggage there. I was talking to some friends of mine. So when I go on for business travel, legit my reward at the end of the day, because we were talking about, I don't know how we got to talking about. Do you take a shower? Do you take a bath? I'm like, my reward when I get to the hotel at the end of the day is typically the hotel rooms that I'm in will have a coffee maker, like those little Keurig coffee makers. And I will make myself a cup of, because it's night, so I make it myself a decaf cup of coffee, and I'll just stand in the shower with my shower coffee. I'm like, I'm not paying for this water. I'm not paying to heat this water right now. I got a cup of coffee here. I'm just gonna stand and let the stress of the day. And my wife, God bless her, and today is Spouse Appreciation Day. So
Oh.
I'm going to name something that I appreciate about my spouse. I don't know what phases her. She's just like, when traveling, she loves it. And she's just like, all right, whatever's going to happen, we'll get there. We'll be there. And it makes me sick, Shane. It makes me sick. Just her laissez-faire, c'est la vie. We'll get there when we get there. Is that between you and your spouse? Is there that kind of difference there at all? Or
She's a little more...
because I'm a stress basket.
Yeah.
I am stressed out. And she's like, no, it's fine. We'll get there.
try to be less stressed or the more relaxed about it.
Okay.
She can be a little bit more concerned.
Okay, yeah, all right. I think there's always one who's a little
Yeah.
bit more of a stress case. I am definitely that stress case in the relationship.
It kind of flip-flops depending on the trip.
Okay.
If it's an RV trip. I'm fine. Like, we're going to get there when we get there.
Yeah.
If it's flying, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I should say
careful.
specifically
Yeah.
when we're flying, I'm the typical dad. All right, everybody, get out, get in the car, we gotta go. It's time to do this. So anyway, today it's the deadline for the real ID. So, gosh, wouldn't that be a bummer though if you were getting on a flight today and you're like, oh shoot, was that today? Oh man,
That's going to be frustrating for some
hopefully
people.
you've got a mortgage bill in your backpack
Exactly.
there that can help you. All right, and we know that the conclave is starting today. They're going to pick a new pope today, and we've got a little bit of pope trivia. Are you ready for this?
Alrighty.
I gave you a very short window of a heads up on this one that we were going to do this, but we're going to play this together. Dear listener at home, you can play this together with us as well. So this is also from the Morning Brew. We do our morning exercises, moving our muscles around. Let's move our mental muscles around as well. The Papal Conclave begins today. Can you name the 5 most popular names taken by popes? I forget that they choose a name.
Yeah.
Like they're, Tim Schmidt. And actually, no, Tim's going to become a different name. So can you name the 5 most popular names taken by popes? Okay, I want you to think on that. While you're thinking on that, we're going to go to meteorologist Tim Root. Tim, tell us how our weather is shaping up for this Wednesday.
Wednesday weather forecast is calling for spring sunshine with temperatures very close to 78, 79 degrees. Southwest wind about 10 to 15. Mostly clear overnight, 50 to 55. Very light winds. Looks like the dry spell is going to last into Thursday and Friday. Mostly sunny skies, warm temperatures. You'll be in the 80s each day. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. ABT has been in business since 2001, and we are thrilled to have been voted Auburn's best plumbing company and best heating and cooling company in Auburn Journal's Best of Auburn promotion. We're very proud to have placed as runner-up in electrical category as well. Our technicians are experienced and friendly. If you have an issue with your plumbing, need a whole house generator, or maybe your furnace isn't working, give ABT a call. Reach us at 530-230-9004 for excellent service. It really is as easy as ABT.
This is Jana from Jana Johnston Photography. I advertise on KAHI Radio because it helps me reach people throughout the foothills who are looking for the best pictures to capture their memories that will last a lifetime. Whether it's a wedding, engagement, graduation, or celebrating a newborn, KAHI Radio connects me with my target audience like only radio can. Thanks, KAHI.
To advertise your business on KAHI Radio, contact the KAHI sales staff at 530-885-5636 today.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins.
Almost a tragic story because this guy on a motorcycle has a terrible crash. And now you have paramedics there, and they declare him dead. So then there's a reporter there, and he films the body bag. And all of a sudden, he notices it starts moving.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Oh, gosh, dang.
Are we sure the zombie apocalypse hasn't started now?
Weekdays from 1 to 4 on the Voice of the Foothills.
FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
11 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:11 a.m. All right, before we went to the break there, we were doing a little bit of trivia. We're doing our mental trivia. Producer Shane is here this morning. Shane, let's see if we can get those mics working now. How about now?
All right, hear me?
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit better. All right, we'll kind of will it to work here today. Okay, so we're doing a little bit of trivia today. The conclave begins. That's where they go in and they choose a new pope. We're looking for the white smoke. That means, of course, that they've chosen a new pope. Now, the papal conclave begins today. Can you name the 5 most popular names taken by popes? So while we're at the break there, Shane, any guesses on some names that popes may have taken, and what are some of the most popular?
I've got 2 off the top of my head.
Okay.
One is John.
John is number 1. Okay, very good. That's number 1. All right. What's another one?
Paul?
That's what I thought too. Okay, because I was like John Paul.
Exactly.
Okay, so John is 1. No. How do you like your eggs?
Are my scrambled?
Scrambled. Okay, but this is a way to serve up an egg. Also a traitor during the American Revolution.
Oh my goodness.
Benedict. So Benedict is number 3.
Oh.
Gregory, number 2. Clement, number 4. And Innocent plus Leo are tied for number 5.
Huh.
So Pope Innocent plus Leo. I don't know if that's like they take a middle name in it. This is Innocent Leo the 5th or something like that. But yeah, so Innocent and Leo, number 5. Clement, number 4. Benedict, number 3. Because we have a Pope Benedict recently. It was right before Pope Francis, the one that we just had. Yeah. Gregory, number 2. And John is number 1. So you got way to start with getting the first one right off the top of the bat there, Pope. And it was John Paul, I think, was the one that, at least during our lifetimes, that were there. So, yep, the conclave begins today, and that is, well, I guess we'll find out soon who the new pope is going to be. All right, it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:14 a.m. Gang, it is time for us now to check in with the Fox Business Report.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Walt Disney shares are up more than 6%. Its earnings and revenue topped Wall Street expectations. It picked up more subscribers for its streaming services, and it was making more from its U.S. theme parks. Disney also is reporting lower theme park attendance at its international locations, higher costs at Shanghai Disney Resort and Hong Kong Disneyland. Uber Technology shares are lower. Even though its earnings were upbeat, it was bringing in less than expected. Revenue was disappointing. Sales of electric vehicles in the U.S. declined by around 5% last month. Research firm Motor Intelligence says the declines are across most brands. Stock futures are gaining with optimism about the trade situation on news that U.S. officials will meet with Chinese representatives in Switzerland this weekend. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola. Invested in you.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details.
McCullough's is the Foothills Department Store, offering a diverse selection of products for the whole family, from clothing, shoes, accessories, to home goods and gifts. McCullough's focuses on quality and customer satisfaction for locals and visitors alike. Whether you're looking for everyday essentials or unique finds, McCullough's has something for everyone. So save time, save gas, save money by shopping McCullough's Department Store in the Auburn Town Center, right off of Elm.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:16 a.m. All right, gang, let's talk about another event for the calendar here. It's Cruise for a Cause. It's happening Saturday, May 24th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be at 991 Lincoln Way here in Auburn, right by the radio station, actually. Now, if you want to be part of Cruise for a Cause, you got to have a car to cruise in to start, and that car needs to be 1975 or older. 50 years. Yes, I can do math there. If you want to pre-register your car, you can do so at ForgottenSoldierProgram.com. That's ForgottenSoldierProgram.com. Now, it's a $20 fee, but it's going to a fantastic cause, the Forgotten Soldier Program. It's the mental health for veterans and first first responders, PTSD, and PTSI. That's what all proceeds are going to support, is that mental health program for veterans and first responders. Again, Cruise for a Cause, happening Saturday, May 24th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., 991 Lincoln Way here in Auburn. You want to cruise, you got to have a car, 1975 or older. I don't know, Shane, if they have to be 50 years or older, but at least the car has to be that. So
Indeed, yeah.
yeah, we'll get close there. If you want to register your car day of, you can do that. You just have to do it an hour earlier at 8 a.m. You make sure you get here nice and early. If you have questions, you can call 530-889-2300. 530-889-2300. Back with more right after this.
San Francisco Giants baseball is now on KAHI AM and FM.
Swing. There's a high drive deep into left center field. It's on its way.
Adios! Hello, time! A grand slam! Catch every Giants game this season on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. Your proud home of the San Francisco Giants.
I'm Frederick Penny, host of Radio Law Talk, the most exciting, entertaining, and sometimes informative radio show on earth. Listen to us live on KAHI, the voice of the foothills, every Saturday morning, 9 to noon, here on FM 104.5 and AM 950. You can also find us on KAHI.com and the KAHI app. Remember, that's Radio Law Talk, live 9 to noon every Saturday, right here on KAHI, AM and FM, the voice of the foothills.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, Sports Ball. Giants played yesterday. All right, gang. So found out apparently there's a little problem here with getting the Giants broadcasting. And I think we had Rich call in yesterday saying, are you guys still broadcasting that? Yes, we are. And I keep saying that we are. The engineers are on it. They're working on it. I am bummed that we didn't have it yesterday because it was a heck of a game in the 11th inning. Gigantes coming up big. We'll talk about that coming up here at the bottom of the hour. We'll keep you up to date here. Back now to JT in the morning.
Because this is the real one. This is the one that I was raised to keep an eye on because China's involvement in it, because the U.S. involvement in it, and all of that. And it is a very volatile, and it has been. And I think the world has generally been caught by, oh, this is going on. And this has been bubbling under the surface for a very long time. Joel texts back in on the subject of, he said, where is our so-called United Nations? Well, like in between South and North Korea, there's a UN force there on this line of control in between the two. But basically, the shells have been flying over their heads for some time. We'll see. This will have impacts on a lot of things, especially, you think, tariffs on India? If India gets involved in a big war and China can't sell anything to anyone, and there's a quick note I want to get into about that, but let's see if this is impacting gold at all with our friends at JCS Gold. The only folks, and plenty of people give plenty of time to investing in gold. I say go call a family that you can talk to, not go to a call center and, well, we'll put you on the queue and send an email to. These are human beings that you can talk to at 434-979-COIN. JCSGold.com is the website you can go to anytime. And James Luck, fourth generation of the Luck family since the Cuban Missile Crisis was an existential threat, but they were prickly between Pakistan and India even back in 1961 when you guys opened your doors for the first time. How are you doing this morning, James?
I'm doing well, Joe, and yesterday was quite the roller coaster. Gold continued to rise after we spoke. It got up as high as $3,431, so
wow.
Very near all-time highs there. It has since overnight dropped to about $42. It's back to about the same spot it was yesterday at this time at $3,388. So it definitely is feeling the effects from all of the news headlines coming out and developing stories. So we'll see where it goes for the rest of the day, but it's holding strong.
But it's your experiences and your families that, sure, it's going to have these momentaries, but it's continuing a climb that is like some of the mountains in between Pakistan and India.
Absolutely, and you can see that when you look at the chart and you zoom out to a 5 or 10-year graph, you can really see, that mountainous line there, but it definitely is in an upward trend. It's been doing that for a very long time. You will have some periods where it kind of stays the same price, and it's just a great buying opportunity. And you can see a lot of great buying opportunities, especially on silver. JCSGold.com on our daily deals page. We have some of the cheapest silver, lowest premiums, there for sale. So they're one-off items. So once it's gone, that's out of stock. So go ahead and hurry there and get it before they're gone.
Well, thank you, James. You have a great morning, and thanks for everything you and your family have been doing since, like I said, since the Cuban Missile Crisis was our big problem there. And you have a great morning.
Thanks, Joe. You too.
It is jcsgold.com. That's Juliet Charlie Sierra Gold.com for them. And so real quick, and a couple of emails, couple of texts on this whole situation going on, and a nuclear war about to break out. Not theoretical, not, is Iran arming the Houthis, or is it the Blowfish or whoever. This has been boiling for some time. And this, I think this first is a notable point from Dean, who says we keep killing each other in God's name. Well, and this is the issue that always winds up happening. What angers me, that when people use faith as a reason to go to war. Faith is about, to me, your results can vary at 434-882-4217. Faith is about how you live your life, about how you individually live your life. It's about making the right choices when confronted by the wrong choices. And anything that perverts that offends me. Anyone who will use that to create armies of soldiers to go off and be cannon fodder offends me. Because it leads, like Dean's, it's fighting, it's not God's will that we go and kill each other. And that's, to me, one of the things that made the United States magical and worth fighting for and worth defending her foundational principles, was that you could believe what you believe and I can believe what I believe. And as long as I don't grab you and tie you up and make you believe what I believe, we should be good. If I do that, I'm going to jail. And I'm going to believe in a whole lot of other things I'm going to have to kneel down for. And so, when this is always the problem, because we get to this point where we think God wants us to go to these wars. That's what the humans, go back to the comment Tom Garrett made. We played the clip from Monday's program where he was talking about John Fetterman. The politicians that allow these secret staffers, these unknown, anonymous, white shirt, red tie, blue blazer folks that really run Washington, unless you have some serious gravitas, the staffers, all the freshmen in Congress. Look at Chakrabarty, who's running against Nancy Pelosi in San Francisco, primarying her. When he ran his American Idol style search to find candidates to run for office. Is it Tear Down the House? It was the documentary. Two documentaries you really should see on this. One will make you angry and one will make you apoplectic. The Swamp, and I think it's Tear Down the House, the documentary about Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. It's a wonderful meme circulating the internet. It says, make Alexandra bartend again. That's the new definition of MAGA. when these two documentaries chronicle what's wrong with our country is that our elected representatives aren't our representatives anymore. They're theatrical players. Chakrabarty's tour of the country looking for candidates he would support. He had a bag of money, and he was looking for people who could be cut from central casting and would look good on TV and would sell the product. They had nothing to do with the making of the product. So you go find both The Swamp and the second version of The Swamp, and bring down the house, tear down the house, whatever. It's AOC's documentary.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
In today's troubled world, our USA Armed Forces stand ready to protect you, your family, and our American way of life. When veterans return to civilian life, they deserve your recognition and support. You can help put vets to work by donating your car, truck, or van to Patriotic Hearts. Your donation will directly support programs to help vets find jobs or even start their own business. Donate today for fast, free pickup of your vehicle, running or not. Operators are standing by to answer questions about making a tax-deductible vehicle donation. Find out how you can make a difference in the life of a United States veteran. Call 800-209-4580 for 24-hour response. Call 800-209-4580. 800-209-4580. That's 800-209-4580.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. Hey, good morning to you, Placerville. Currently 51 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 75 degrees. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get right into it. We are going to start on the hardwood in the NBA. We've got the playoffs happening. Pacers yesterday versus the Cavaliers. That's the semifinal. Game 2, Indiana leads that series 2-0. Indiana won that game just barely, 120-119 over the Cavs. Warriors played yesterday. Golden State versus the Timberwolves. Golden State wins that one 99-88. This is the West semifinals, game 1 there. Golden State leads that series 1-0. Talking about sports ball, my gosh, let's go over to the MLB. Yesterday, Giants going into the 11th inning versus the Cubs, down. They were tied 5-5, and the Giants decided 11 innings were enough because in the 11th inning, they scored 9 stinking runs. Here's how that all kicked off in the 11th inning.
He lines that one into center field, and it gets down, base hit. Koss scores. Crow Armstrong, wild throw, but Kelly comes up with it. 6-5 Giants. Patrick Bailey with a big hit.
6-5 Giants. The Giants, go on to score 8 more runs there, and they win that game against the Cubbies yesterday, 14-5. My gosh, what a comeback in the 11th inning there. Giants play against the Cubs again today. It's going to be a morning one here on the West Coast. It's going to be 11:20 a.m. Now, gang, our engineers are working on getting the Giants. For some reason, there's some technical thing going on in the background. I don't understand exactly what it is, but the engineers are on it, knowing that the transmission isn't coming through. They're working to get it, so hopefully hopefully we'll have it here in time for the Giants versus the Cubbies. But if not, I'm looking for the next time they play on Friday versus the Twins. That we'll have it back up here and running. So thanks for your patience as we're still working out the technical details, getting the Giants on air here. But boy, what an exciting game. And stay tuned to KAHI to hear more Giants games. Angels versus the Blue Jays. Angels win that one 8-3. D-backs versus the Mets. Diamondbacks on top there 5-1. Mariners versus the A's. Well, Mariners came back on this one and won that one 5-3 over the Athletics. Yankees versus the Padres. Yankees on top there 12-3. And Marlins versus the Dodgers. Marlins take that one 5-4 with a walk-off to end that game. All right, we'll be back with your KAHI weather with meteorologist Tim Root right after this.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia. Join me for my live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions right here on KAHI. On my show, we tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies.
Dr. Dahlia, weekdays from 9 to noon here on the Voice of the Foothills.
Join me each weekday morning right here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
Wednesday weather forecast is calling for spring sunshine with temperatures very close to 78, 79 degrees. Southwest wind about 10 to 15. Mostly clear overnight, 50 to 55, very light winds. Looks like the dry spell is going to last into Thursday and Friday. Mostly sunny skies, warm temperatures. You'll be in the 80s each day. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 33 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to have your KAHI News. We'll have more events for the calendar. My gosh, gang, there is a lot going on in the foothills. Also, we'll have your California Ag Report. There is lots coming. Stay tuned. Time to send in your daily dad joke. If you want to, you can send yours in live at KAHI.com, L-I-V-E at KAHI.com, or call me 530-885-3565. Back now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
From the home of the First Amendment, first thing today.
This is just what the doctor ordered.
434-882-4217, QHHS Secretary.
When my uncle was president, 3% of American kids had chronic disease. Today it's around 60%. And these are a broad category, the ones that Marty mentioned, like ADHD, the neurological disorders, ADD, ADHD, speech delay, language delay, tics, Tourette syndrome, narcolepsy, ASD, and autism. All of these are injuries that I never heard of when I was a kid. They were not part of the nomenclature.
Of course, his aunt had been lobotomized because she was, she had been she was well on into her adulthood and just became too much of a burr under Grandpa Joe's saddle. But we'll leave that as it may for a moment. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. leading us into, I think, a place where some of this all comes together. So, survey, health research organization, Kaiser, it's not Kaiser Permanente, that's an insurance group, but anyway, KFF did a survey tracking and surveying public opinion on medicine in the United States. And here are some of the results from that. 46% of the people surveyed have at least some confidence in federal agencies ensuring the safety and effectiveness of prescription drugs. Now, that's including people who have none at all. Fewer than 45% have confidence in the safety of effectiveness of vaccines, and only 42% say they have confidence that federal health agencies can respond to infectious disease outbreaks like bird flu and measles. Now, this is accepting the premise that the government can protect you from a virus. But tie this to what President Trump signed yesterday, an executive order like Barack Obama's executive order stopping federal monies going to gain-of-function research. Now, the President Trump's expanded further. Barack Obama said, I'm stopping any gain-of-function research from happening here in the United States. He didn't say we weren't going to do it in Ukraine and China. Tony Fauci, Rand Paul, not some talk show host, the senator from Kentucky, Rand Paul, has the documents that show Tony, take the shot, leave the cannolis. Fauci sent money to the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct gain-of-function research. Robert Malone, who, by the way, is going to be part of Freedom Fest with us. We're broadcasting live from Palm Springs in June. Freedom Fest, the Scousins. I think Joanne is going to be on with us later in the week to talk about the Anthem Film Festival. Great, amazing Virginia farmer Joel Salatin is going to be out there. I hope they're screening his documentary. I can't. It would be a waste for me. It's the new documentary that Angel Studios did on this rogue farmer Joel Salatin. But Robert Malone is going to be out there as well. He'll be joining us about the program. But he has told us on this program, he has sat before you over these broadcasted airwaves and testified as to what he has in his book, War, that we need his mRNA research to create vaccines, rapid deployment vaccine templates, because they have weaponized biology. And you say, well, Joe, that can't happen. The Hague, the World Courts, the Geneva Convention. And this was what he had discovered, and it shocked me. So for some time we had talked about the clot shot and using mRNA technology to create this rapid deployment, warp speed COVID shot that wasn't turning out to be nearly as effective as even just getting COVID and eating chicken soup. But when Dr. Malone laid out what he had discovered as the reasons why, it all of a sudden, first off, it chilled me because it made sense. All of a sudden, but you have to shake off some of your pre-existing conditioned thought that there's some Geneva Convention that stops countries from weaponizing biopathogens against one another. And who is the enemy? And this is where Pakistan and India come into this, and the Houthis and Israel and terrorism. Who is the enemy? Let's drag the Department of Homeland Security, who up until January 20th of this year considered conservatives and former military members the greatest domestic terrorist threat. Who can you use these bioweapons against? Your enemy. You can spray your enemy with biopathogens as long as they're not lethal. I was sitting in a room maybe an hour from where the studio sits right now, listening to Dr. Malone thinking, oh my God, that actually makes sense to me now. All these pieces and parts that were just sort of floating out there saying, why are we, what, something's going on. And then when I realized that the Geneva Convention has this blind spot when it comes to bioweapons, you're allowed to use them as long as it makes your opponent's soldiers grievously ill. Well, in a world where terrorism has become the flogging stone, who are your opponents? Who is your oppositional army? So this survey says to me the Americans don't trust the American government to do health care. Now, I'd love to go back to the archives. I've lost my access to the archives from 2008, 2009, 2010, when Barry Soetoro had become president. You know him as Barack Obama. Well, Barry wanted to have a health care plan in which the government was going to get its murky little fingers involved in health care because you'll get to keep your doctor. And the mess that Obamacare has created has led us here, has led us to a world where we don't trust health care. And QHHS Secretary Kennedy?
When my uncle was president, 3% of American kids had chronic disease. Today, it's around 60%.
Why? As God is my witness, whichever one you believe in, he or she or they will be my witness to this. Why do we keep asking the government to do things? We ask the government to educate our kids. Our kids are getting profoundly dumber as the minutes go by. It isn't even an annual descent. Each minute, our children are becoming stupider, dumbed down by government education. We ask the government to do health care. Our kids are getting sicker. All of us are getting sicker because the government's doing health care. Meanwhile, the one thing the government's supposed to do, which is defend our rights, they seem less and less disposed to take any time to do. As a matter of fact, they'll even work hard to try to find reasons to not defend your rights. Perhaps you've had a mental health issue. Well, you can no longer have First Amendment protections because you lost your last good marble, Senator Fetterman. Can't have Second Amendment rights because red flag. Can't have Fourth Amendment rights because we really need to check up on you whether you like it or not because you're crazy. George Orwell could not have written this. Aldous Huxley could not have written this. And many people say, well, Aldous Huxley's books just took place, a half century after we got used to George Orwell's books in the timeline of despotism. George Orwell could not have crafted this scenario, yet here we are. The government's running our health care, and we're becoming profoundly sicker. The government's running our education system, and we're becoming profoundly dumber. When do we say enough is enough?
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. Totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot's Secret Gasoline Extreme. The solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot's Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Nevada City. Currently, it is 53 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today. Very nice, 74 degrees out there. All right, speaking of Nevada City, let's talk about another event for the calendar. Mother's Day is coming up. Yeah, Mother's Day is here on Sunday. Producer Shane, Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Is that on your radar? Is that on your calendar?
A little bit. I need to go get a Mother's Day card.
Okay, yeah, you and me both. Maybe we can both do a little bit of shopping after the show here today because I realized that the other day. So I was talking to my mom yesterday. She called, and a couple of years ago, I forgot to call my mother on Mother's Day, and that did not go over well.
I can imagine not.
Yeah, it was not a great day for my... Well, okay. And this makes it even worse. My mother-in-law's birthday falls on Mother's Day weekend. And so we were celebrating my mother-in-law, and I got so wrapped up on, we were doing this big old thing for mother-in-law, that I forgot my own mother.
Oh, no.
Let's just say tears were shed from my mom. So I was talking to my mom yesterday, and multiple times I said, hey, Mom, happy Mother's Day. And she's like, no, it does not count. You cannot pregame Mother's Day. So anyway, Heads up, Mother's Day for those of you that have a mom, are married to a mom, have a special woman in your life that helps take care of just all the things around you. It is Mother's Day. So speaking of that, Moms and Mimosas, a Mother's Day celebration. Maybe you want to take your wife to this. I don't know. It's up in Nevada City there at the Miners Foundry. If you know a mom, if you have a mom, if you are a mom, bring your friends, bring your moms, bring yourself to Miners Foundry Cultural Center. It's Moms and Mimosas featuring the Lolo and the Bro Bros. What kind of music do you think that is? Just from the sound of their name there.
Oh my gosh.
Zither music. I don't know. Any seems like it'd be Cajun, maybe? I don't know. You're just gonna have to go and check it out. Any guesses at all?
Rockabilly, maybe?
No, that's okay. That sounds good. Yeah, or maybe Rockabilly. It's gonna be Sunday, May 11th. The doors open at 3 p.m. Music is at 4 p.m. There's gonna be specialty cocktails and snacks. The Miners Foundry is pleased to present a special matinee performance of Moms and Mimosas with music by Lolo and the Bro Bros featuring Lorraine Gervais. Doors open at 3 p.m. for socializing, and the music begins at 4 p.m. The Miners Foundry offers a no-host full bar featuring specialty martinis alongside appetizers and sweet treats. On this special afternoon, we invite you to gather in the warmth of the historic Stone Hall, share stories, and relive musical memories that resonate with the timeless spirit of the Foundry. With its rich, storied walls, welcoming atmosphere, I don't know. This is... The marketing department gets bonus here. I feel like I want to go there right now just based off of this description. With its rich, storied walls, welcoming atmosphere, the Foundry provides a perfect setting for reconnecting with old friends and making new ones and celebrating friends, siblings, and especially moms on this Mother's Day in the heart of Nevada City's cultural legacy. Again, Moms and Mimosas featuring Lolo and the Bro Bros. It's going to be this Sunday, May 11th. Doors open at 3 p.m., music at 4 p.m., specialty cocktails and snacks, and sweet treats available. You can get your tickets online at eventbrite.com. Moms and Mimosas, a Mother's Day celebration this Sunday, May 11th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Miners Foundry. Back with your KAHI News right after this.
I thought it was just stress. But then it felt like I was stuck in a state of panic, obsessed with worry that something bad would happen if I didn't complete endless rituals. I couldn't solve this on my own. So I made the call. I found a doctor who diagnosed me with OCD. Now I'm able to live more in the present.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
And here's your KAHI News for Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Chris Quant. PG&E press release. Pacific Gas and Electric Company, PG&E, is replacing 635 feet of 6-inch natural gas main along Highway 49 just south of Dry Creek Road in Auburn. Work will occur from May 12th to late June to take place on Sundays to Thursday nights from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Work is occurring at nights to reduce traffic impacts. The outside southbound lane of Highway 49 will be closed during work hours, with the inside southbound lane fully open. The work is being done at the request of the Placer County Transportation Agency and Caltrans, which will build a pedestrian walkway. Crews will bore and trench to upgrade the gas main. PG&E has notified customers in the neighborhoods by automated phone calls. Locally produced feature film on homelessness now available for streaming. This is from the Auburn Journal. For those who weren't able to get to the theaters to see the locally produced film about homelessness, No Address, the film has hit streaming platforms as of May 6th. Robert Craig Films' award-winning debut feature film No Address and Americans with No Address, a companion documentary, are available for digital purchase and rental, including Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Fandango at Home, YouTube, and more. Additionally, No Address is available to purchase on DVD at Walmart and Amazon. The purpose-driven purchase will benefit those highlighted it highlights people experiencing homelessness in America, with 50% of net profits pledged to nonprofits, making a positive impact in local communities nationwide. No Address, starring Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter and actress Ashanti, shares the personal journeys of individuals experiencing homelessness. This powerful and heartfelt film weaves together stories of resilience, compassion, and human dignity. It has won numerous awards, and audiences have reacted with a 98% popcorn meter score on Rotten Tomatoes. Quote, "What drew me to No Address was its raw honesty. This film doesn't just tell a story, it gives people experiencing homelessness their dignity back," unquote, remarked Ty Pennington. Quote, "The overwhelming response to both the feature film and the documentary shows that Americans are not only connecting to these stories, but also searching for a deeper understanding and real solutions to this crisis," unquote, says Jennifer Stolo, CEO and producer of Robert Craig Films. Quote, "With these streaming releases, we'll reach more with our message of hope and urgent call to action," unquote. For streaming, rental, and purchase information for the feature film No Address, visit noaddressmovie.com. Back with more news after this.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
Are you looking for a meaningful way to give back to your community? Child Advocates of Placer County serves the community with court-appointed special advocates, adult-to-youth mentors, and family mentors. These Placer County volunteers are specifically trained to serve at-risk children and parents. CASA and Placer Mentor volunteers help foster youth, at-risk youth, and young adults build resiliency, self-confidence, and self-sufficiency. They help them attain academic achievement and avoid the juvenile justice system, teen pregnancy, and drug and alcohol use. The goal of Child Advocates of Placer County is to see our youth make better life choices, succeed in school, and become happy, stable, and contributing adults. They want parents to reunify with their children and rebuild their families. And they want volunteers to come away with a sense of accomplishment, an increased connection to our community, and a feeling of joy that comes from giving back in a meaningful way. The results are life-changing for everyone. If you think you might be one of the volunteers we're talking about here, go to casaplacer.org and click on Volunteer.
Tune in to the KAHI Corral every Saturday at 7 a.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills.
I did a petting zoo on the top floor of a skyscraper.
No. Wait.
They had the windows open because it's an old building. They don't have any air conditioning.
I'm still creeped out because I think animals fell out the windows, but they didn't.
Well, Reno did. He was on the windowsill with his head out the window.
Did he come when you
Walked
called
over
him?
very slowly, grabbed him, and pulled him back in and closed the windows.
Listen in to Connie and the Gang, and you'll never know what you're gonna find. Everything from pets in the studio, oh yeah, that's a real thing, to the advice you've come to count on. So join Connie and a cast of thousands on the KAHI Corral Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. here on 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew. Carney tells Trump that Canada, quote, won't be for sale ever, unquote. In a mostly friendly meeting at the White House yesterday, newly elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said that Canada will remain a sovereign country after President Trump repeated his desire for it to become the 51st U.S. state. Quote, there are some places that are never for sale. You're sitting in one right now, unquote, Carney told Trump, referring to the Oval Office. Earlier in the day, Trump antagonized Canada in a post on Truth Social, but then took a more cordial tone during the in-person meeting, even joking that his rhetoric and trade policies, which are unpopular in Canada, helped Carney and his Liberal Party get elected last month. The DOJ wants Google to break up its advertising empire following a federal court's ruling that Google operates an illegal ad tech monopoly. The Justice Department requested that the company be forced to sell two major products, its ad exchange and a management platform, as an appropriate remedy. Google, unsurprisingly, asked the judge for a less drastic remedy that would see the company make certain changes to its practices without having to break up its ad businesses. The judge won't rule until the remedy trial starts in September. Until then, Google has another thing to dread. The government also wants the tech giant to sell Chrome to remedy its other monopoly in the search engine department. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Mattel, the maker of Barbie dolls and Hot Wheels cars, warned that it plans to raise prices on some toys in response to tariffs. The Supreme Court allowed the Trump administration to implement its ban on transgender military members in a 6-3 ruling. Tesla sales continued to slip in Europe, falling behind two smaller Chinese automakers in the UK last month, Business Insider reported. President Trump said the U.S. will stop bombing Houthis in Yemen after he claimed the militant group agreed to cease targeting civilian ships in the Middle East. And Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will forego a chance at the Triple Crown and won't race in this month's Preakness Stakes, adding to the Baltimore race's woes after it announced it won't host its traditional infield party where attendees used to ignore the horses, run across the top of porta potties, and get pelted with beers. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is portmanteau, meaning a word made by combining two or more other words or parts of words, portmanteau. And that's your KAHI News for this Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Chris Quant. On now to the California Ag Report.
It's time for California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. Spring means spraying for California almond producers, and as we go through the motions of what happens when, I spoke with James Schaefer of Helena Agri Enterprises this week to get a feel for where we're at with this year's crop. He said blatantly, it's a bit spotty.
We had some pretty devastating heat last summer, and that exhausted a lot of the carbohydrates and resources in our crop, and I think some of the trees are struggling to come back from that.
Going with the sports analogy, he says it's time for defense.
Right now, we're seeing some shot hole, and we're seeing the plant bugs come on, and the NOW, the navel orangeworms, are starting to fly. So, really, we're trying to protect that crop and treat accordingly right now.
And he told me that thanks to new technologies, you can be a bit more targeted with what you're spraying for.
For example, if you're looking to target just your worms, your NOW, selective chemistries like Troubadour from Helena target just those pests. So, they're not harmful to the bees, and your beneficial insects like your predatory mites that are actually helpful to you in the field.
James Schaefer, Helena Agri Enterprises.
For the last 40 years, the Ag Information Network has been the source of news for farmers and ranchers. Yet we have never seen such an assault on farming and our food supply as we do today. From fuel to fertilizer, farmers are facing unprecedented economic challenges. This is why agriculture news that farmers receive comes from the Ag Information Network, reaching coast to coast. Deep roots in farming and decades of reporting, the Ag Information Network, trusted and transparent journalism for generations.
Today, we're talking with aphids and whiteflies about Safina insecticide from BASF.
We just got nailed with it.
So tell us, how you feeling?
Really, really weird.
And you still want to devour this field?
No way, bro.
There you have it, folks. Safina insecticide is specifically engineered to disorient aphids and whiteflies so they can't eat. And when they can't eat, they can't destroy.
Help protect your alfalfa from aphids with Safina insecticide. Always read and follow label directions.
This is California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. For more ag news, check us out online at aginfo.net.
Maybe it was a family vacation or a school field trip. But there you were, standing in awe at a national park. We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation, gets their chance.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 7 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills, Chris Quant, with you here, holding it down. Beautiful Studio A, KAHI Studios, looking outside at another gorgeous spring day. We'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit to find out what our official weather forecast is for today and probably for the next couple of days. By the way, we forgot to do it last hour. If today is your birthday, by the way, we love to do this at the top of the hour. Happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. If you have a birthday today, you share it with one Gary Cooper. American actor born on this day in 1901, passed away in 1961. Johnny Unitas, American football player and sportscaster, born on this day in 1933, passed away in 2002. Going back a little bit for Robert Browning, English poet, born on this day in 1812. So happy birthday. Oh, and Tchaikovsky, Russian composer, born on this day in 1840. So happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to you if you're celebrating today. I hope you have a fantastic day. As you're getting started with your day, if maybe you're doing your physical exercises, stretching a little bit, getting those muscles all nice and loose and limber. Well, we're going to have a little mental exercise. We're going to do a little bit of trivia as we do at the top of the hour here. So get ready for that. It's the conclave is starting today. The new Pope is going to be elected, so we've got some Pope-related trivia for you. So we'll put on our thinking caps here in a little bit. And speaking of this day, coming up a little bit later this hour, we're going to have your daily dad jokes. So if you would like to send me yours, you can send me your dad joke at live@khi.com, live@khi.com, or you can call me 530-885-3565. Also, we'll have your mental health minute a little bit later on this hour as well. There's a lot coming at us throughout the day, and I just like to set up our day just kind of nice. Just take it easy for a little bit. Focus on our minds, focus on our mental health, focus on our overall well-being. So we're going to take some time to do that a little bit later on this hour. And hey, by the way, if you're thinking about going on a domestic flight today, well, today is the first day where, now they've said this for a long time, and having flown for work for a few years now, I remember seeing this in the airport of like, oh, you got to have your real ID. Oh, it's time for the real ID. Oh, get your real ID ready to go. Oh, nope. Never mind. No real ID yet. But today is, now they've pushed it off long enough. The government has said, nope, it's actually time for the real ID to come into effect. So that is today. Today is the day, May 7th, 2025. Now, I did not realize how long they've been trying to put this into effect. It turns out the real ID was first proposed back in 2005. So 20 years ago is when we started this whole, we're going to get the whole real ID thing. Now, I got mine. I figured, well, I do a lot of flying for work. I got to get on the plane, got to go ahead and get the real ID. Now, I got it the last time I had to renew my driver's license. I think I had to do that last year or the year before, and I figured, all right, well, I'll go ahead and do that. Now, it's not something that you can do online or through the mail or anything like that. You got to go down. You got to go visit our friends over there at the DMV and check in with them and get your real ID. It's just like renewing your driver's license or doing that. But you got to go in. They're going to take a new picture of you. So get your hair did, and, make sure you fellas, you pluck the nose hairs and get ready for your picture there. I am surprised the more I go. When I got I got my real ID, basically my driver's license / real ID, I looked at the picture and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am looking more and more like my dad every day. I looked at it. At first I thought, oh, my dad's on my Nope, that's me. Nope, that's my picture now. I saw a video of myself the other day. As I got up, it was a replay of something that I was at, and I got up and I was talking to my son, and I thought, oh, but my dad. Nope, that's not my dad talking to my son. That is me talking to my son. So yeah, it's as we age, as we go on. Shout out to my parents, and always excited to talk to them, and yeah, you can honor your parents however you see fit. Apparently, my way of honoring them is to look like them in my physical appearance. And hey, by the way, speaking of parents, Sunday is Mother's Day. Fellas, heads up. If you haven't gotten something for the mom in your life, you might want to. I forgot a couple of years ago. I will never live this down. My mother-in-law's birthday falls on the same weekend as Mother's Day, and hats off to my wife's family. Make a big deal out of mom. She's got 8 kids. Almost all of them live here in the area still. So we all get together and we're planning on doing a big all-day event thing on Saturday for her. And we're going to celebrate and have breakfast, and then we'll do a lunch thing and then a dinner thing and all hang out. And we did that a couple of years ago, and mom actually ended up renting a little Airbnb, and we all went away, and 30 of us crammed into this Airbnb. It was a ton of fun. Everybody's always playing games. There's always food happening. It's always a good time. But in all of the all of the excitement and all of the madness on Mother's Day, I was in charge of the breakfast. So I had to basically coordinate everybody and cook a breakfast for everybody on Mother's Day that day. And then just one thing led to another. And we got to the end of the day, and my dad called me and said, you better call your mother. And I had totally forgotten. In the madness of the day, helping to celebrate my mother-in-law, which probably made it even worse, that I forgot to call my own dear, sweet mother. So my mom called me yesterday. She had some update for news for a family trip that we've got coming up here in a couple of months. And I remembered. So I said, Mom, happy Mother's Day. And she's like, nope, it doesn't count. Nope, you can't pregame Mother's Day. You got to actually say it on the actual day. It's So I told her Happy Mother's Day about 3 more times before we left the phone call, and every time she kept telling me, "Nope, you can't bank points on that one. You gotta actually do the call on the actual day." And I should Producer Adam. Oh wait, he's gone this week. Producer Shane in this week. We'll have to get her a card as well as also for my dear sweet wife. And thanks, hon, if you're listening, for all that you do for our family, holding that mental load and all the physical load of the kids and the house and everything that you do around. Sure appreciate you. And to all the moms out there and all the ladies that are significant in our lives, whether you're a mom or not, happy Mother's Day to you. Thanks for all that you bring, not only to our lives, but to our community, our city, and all of that good stuff, our country as well. So happy Mother's Day. Oh, that's right. My mom says I can't pregame Mother's Day, but I'm going to say it anyway. To all you moms out there, happy Mother's Day on Sunday. I hope you have a fantastic day. Fellas, don't forget Sunday for the special woman in your life there. Make sure that you are celebrating Mother's Day. Hey, we are going to take a break here for just a second. We're going to check on weather with meteorologist Tim Root. When we come back after that, we'll talk a little bit more about what the summer box office is looking like. Any plans to go to the movies? Still go to the movies? What do movies look like for you? But before we do that, we're going to go talk to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there on this Wednesday?
Wednesday weather forecast is calling for spring sunshine with temperatures very close to 78, 79 degrees. Southwest wind about 10 to 15. Mostly clear overnight, 50 to 55, very light winds. Looks like the dry spell is going to last into Thursday and Friday. Mostly sunny skies, warm temperatures. You'll be in the 80s each day. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 8 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:08 a.m. All right, when we come back, we are looking for probably the best, or at least they're predicting, the best summer box office that we've had since COVID, actually. We got a lot of big events coming out. How much? When they say the best box office coming up here in a long time, what does that translate to dollars worth? We'll talk about that. Also, if we have time for it, the screwworm is coming, and there's a threat to the screwworm and how they have fought this. I don't know, started fighting this back in the 50s, and even now they're doing this preventative measure for fighting flies with flies, basically, is what they're doing down in Texas. We'll talk about that if we have time. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the morning, Monday through Fridays, starting at 6 a.m. My goodness, that's still early. Get all the local news, weather, traffic, and local events you can handle, plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the morning, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. Now, where did I put that breakfast burrito?
It's hot to the max in the summer, and your air conditioner gives up the ghost. Who are you going to call? ACP Mechanical, that's who. I did, and I can't believe what a great job they did in my home. It's cool and comfortable with a job well done. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. Whether it's cooling or heating, Enrique and his ACP Mechanical team can install, repair, commercial or residential, no matter what HVAC system you have or want, and they've done it for over 20 years. Air conditioners, heat pumps, furnaces, thermostats, all quality and affordable solutions, and they're bonded and insured. I know you'll love their work. I do. Call ACP Mechanical, 916-704-8556. That's 916-704-8556 for all your comfort needs. That's ACP Mechanical, 916-704-8556, and expect an expert job well done and right the first time.
This is Stephen Hill. Catch Hearts of Space, Sunday nights at 8, here on the all-new FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. The same voice of the foothills, more powerful than ever.
Minutes past the top of the hour, 7:11 a.m. All right, before we went to the break there, experts are saying, I don't know if how you get to be an expert. I guess it's a leading box office analyst talking to Variety, saying that potentially we're gearing up to have a box office summer like we had before the pandemic. So what does that look like as far as dollar goes before the pandemic? Well, we hit it a couple of years ago with a portmanteau. That's right. That's when you combine two words. That's our word of the day, by the way, portmanteau. When you combine two words into one word. And a couple of summers ago, it was Barbenheimer. That's when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out, that movie. And it hit about $4 billion. So that's a combined $4 billion at the box office, which was an annual occurrence before the pandemic, but has only happened once. And that was in 2023, again, thanks to the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. But they're saying this year's summer popcorn fodder could put people back in seats in movies like they used to be back before the pandemic. What do we have coming out this summer? Well, if you're a fan of Superman, there's a Superman coming out, Jurassic World Rebirth. How many Jurassic Park movies are we gonna get? I think I stopped watching. I don't even think I've seen the third Jurassic Park film there. I kind of cut out of those a while ago. My wife and son, though, watched them all. The Fantastic Four, that looks like it's going to be a good one. Another superhero movie coming out, The Fantastic Four. First Steps, don't know much about that one. And then the final installment, I don't know, 20 years later, of Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible franchise. So he's going to do Ethan Hawke, Tom Cruise as the agent Ethan Hawke. His last mission apparently is coming this summer. Mission Impossible, the last Mission Impossible movie will be happening. It's jam-packed with sequels this summer and big budget tentpoles. They've got a Formula One movie coming out. Brad Pitt's in it. It's all around Formula One. They actually filmed at Formula One races and in and around the actual tracks. And so my son and I are pumped as Formula One fans to see that. So I will probably definitely be throwing our money into the $4 billion haul there as they're looking for this blockbuster summer to take place. So we'll see what's going on in movie theaters this summer. I don't know. Are you planning on seeing any of those? Do you go to the movie theaters anymore? You can just watch it at home now. There's a big movie coming out here with John Krasinski and I think Emma Watson or something like. Anyway, a big movie. And I think it's going right to streaming, right to Apple TV Plus. So it must be profitable and beneficial for them. Some to send into movies, into theaters. I still haven't figured out when it goes into the theater and it goes streaming at the same time, or it's going to go to the theaters first and then streaming. I don't know. As a movie exec, as a movie business, as a movie studio, I'm sure they've got people figuring it out. But yeah, so many options now. It's not just like, oh, you make a movie, you release it, and then after a while it comes out on DVD and VHS and all that good stuff. Nope. Now we've got a lot of options. So anyway, it looks like we're going to have a big haul this summer at the box office. And my gosh, just for the air conditioning, sometimes I'll go for that. Hey, it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:14 a.m. It is time for us now to check in, as we do, with the Fox Business Report.
I'm Susan Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The Federal Reserve's meeting wraps up today, and U.S. representatives are headed to Switzerland to meet with trade officials from China this weekend. Walt Disney shares are up 8%. Disney's quarter was solid. Domestic theme parks saw more people visit. Disney added more than 1 million subscribers to its streaming service. Also, Walt Disney says it will build a theme park resort in Abu Dhabi with a local partner. Outback Steakhouse's parent company, Bloomin' Brands, says it's seeing choppy consumer consumer trends, its quarter was strong and it is standing by its forecast for the year. Bloomin' also owns Bonefish Grill in Carrabba's. Uber's earnings topped expectations. Demand for rides increased in the recent quarter, though its revenue was disappointing and the stock's down 3%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For
Hi, this is Mike Nichols. What are you doing Sunday? Join me for the KAHI Swap Shop this Sunday morning at 8. If you have something to sell, or if you're looking for something, maybe you're having a yard sale, or perhaps you have a freebie you want to give away, you can give me a call and we can chat about it live on the air.
What do you say now? If it's a nice day now, what are you doing Sunday, baby?
17 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:17 a.m. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. The Old Town Auburn Co-op is coming. It's going to be on the third Thursdays in May, July, and September. It's the Old Town Auburn Co-op. Yep, the first one is going to be May 15th, so it's coming up here pretty quick. The Auburn Co-op is the family-friendly event. There's always something new to enjoy, from kids' crafts to pop-up activities. Previous events have brought fun and games, including drumming circles, street games, water play, climbing walls, and more. Yeah, definitely during July. Bust the water out, have a little squirt gun fight or something, water balloon fight. Sip on the best local wine, craft beer, and distilled spirits from the region. Taste incredible coffee, sweets, and treats from local vendors. Support local artists and discover one-of-a-kind handcrafted goods. Throw your arms up and dance along with live music performances. Connect with local farmers, nonprofits, and your Auburn neighbors. It is the Auburn Co-op. It is happening during May, July, and September. The first one is going to be on May 15th. It's the third Thursdays in May, July, and September. Auburn Co-op in Old Town Auburn. All right, we'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. ABT has been in business since 2001, and we are thrilled to have been voted Auburn's best plumbing company and best heating and cooling company in Auburn Journal's Best of Auburn promotion. We're very proud to have placed as runner-up in electrical category as well. Our technicians are experienced and friendly. If you have an issue with your plumbing, need a whole house generator, or maybe your furnace isn't working, give ABT a call. Reach us at 530-230-9004 for excellent service. It really is as easy as ABT.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment at the bottom of the hour. That's right, it's time for your daily dad jokes. Make you laugh, sigh, maybe roll your eyes. You can send me yours live at KAHI.com or call me 530-885-3565. Back now to JT in the morning, and I will see you back here at the bottom of the hour.
Did he say bat scratch? Because he gave you a clot shot. We were talking with Dr. Clark about this when we had to go to the news earlier on, and I appreciate you hanging on the line with us and sticking around. You as well at 434-882-4217. We break down the news, and I want to hear how it's impacting you at street level. Go ahead, Dr. Clark. What was the other thought that you had? I'm sorry, we had to run to the news there.
So you were talking about loss of trust in the CDC, the National Institute of Health, et cetera.
Department of Education. I mean, we're losing faith in everything, which do you agree with me that I don't necessarily have a problem with us losing faith in the government's ability to do all these things it shouldn't be doing in the first place?
So I have to wonder at some point if this is not a feature rather than a flaw. If they're cloud pivoting the whole thing, then loss of faith and confidence in all institutions is a goal.
Yeah, you're right. I can't really argue with that. And the danger is, and this is why I prefaced it by saying the good thing is we still have the Constitution and Bill of Rights. They have not succeeded as Barack Obama's spouse wanted us to. I mean, at least they had the balls to say, stop laughing when I say, all right, she had the guts to say, I don't know what they're fixated on when I keep saying it that way. But anyway, that Barack Obama's spouse had the guts to say we need to fundamentally change America. But they're the first that I've heard to say it. Most of them just don't have the guts to come out and say it publicly. They want to do it. Pocahontas and Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders. And I don't necessarily believe Mitch McConnell and some of these folks do too. They want a government that does things, and whether it be a conservative thing or a liberal thing, they want a government that can be proactive. And we're seeing the fruits of what the Americans see as a proactive government. But here's the question, and you bring up Cloward and Piven. Is this designed to make especially the younger generations lose faith in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights because they'll say, well, you don't trust the government is this, so we need to tear this up and then replace it with something? Is that what you're getting at?
I think that's where we're headed. And make no mistake, and it's all about timing, and it always is, Joe. When Michelle Obama was, for the first time in her adult life, proud of her country, they thought they could break out the hammer and sickle flags because we've won. We got this. I think they completely removed the mask just a little too soon with the fundamental transformation.
Well, but here's the technological side, and I've said this before. This is a cycle. We've done this before. Humans have achieved liberty only to fumble the ball on the 5-yard line doing a touchdown dance before we get there. And we've lost liberty countless times in the history of humanity only to have to win it back through bloodshed later on in the cycle. Maybe technology, and maybe technology helped with Barack Obama's spouse and their ballsy maneuver to go after the Constitution and admit it publicly. Technology, 50, 20 years earlier, you never would have heard of the president's spouse saying that. It wouldn't have happened. Jackie Kennedy, she could have said it, and we wouldn't have known it. Nancy Reagan could have said it and we wouldn't have known it. It's only because we have the technological ability to share this information. That's why people like the Nina Jankowiczes of the world, the disinformation babes of the government, are such a chilling aspect of this regulating of speech.
Well, yes, and with the regulating of speech, now we can know it if they want us to know it.
Right, and that's the problem is now that we have the technology to know it, now we got to do something about it. Good stuff as always, Dr. Clark. Go take care of the bovines before they excrete any more government on us.
There you go.
Oh, information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you
yeah, there's good old Nina. Can't forget Nina Jankowicz because her office still exists. This is we've gone fits and starts licensing journalists, regulating, and this goes back to our discussion about John Fetterman and his marbles. They sat down with John Fetterman, the Pennsylvania senator, in his office and asked him about these whisper campaigns about his sanity. And I've read the establishment clause, the Constitution. Trust me on this. There's no, you know what's coming? You're bracing it. There's no sanity clause.
You've been public about your struggles with depression, and you had a prescription regimen of drugs to take in the aftermath of your time. Have you been keeping up with that, taking your medication?
I want to. My doctors are like, John is great, and I am on all of the plan that it's always been, and it's incredibly invasive. And why are people talking about anyone's personal medical things? It's that, I think most people would agree that's really, really invasive.
And really not even a point, because if the senator can't function, that's the voters of Pennsylvania. Those are the judges of Pennsylvania. If the Republican Party of Pennsylvania or the Democratic Party of Pennsylvania wants to try to impeach John Fetterman, there are tools in which they can do it. This isn't what they're doing. They're doing the character assassination. Get in line or this will keep happening, just like they did to the lieutenant gubernatorial candidate in Virginia, John Reed, when he won the nomination and he wasn't cut from central casting. He told me, a friend of mine was at a rally with him the other day in front of he said this was the most ardent Second Amendment Tea Party group you could possibly get together. First paragraph in John's address is about how he's a gay man with a husband. And my friend was like, oh, my God, I can't believe he's leading with that. He said by the end, 90% of the people in the room signed up to be volunteers. And it wasn't a small room either. It's not like 9 out of 10 people, but I mean, there was 150 people, and 90% of them signed up to be volunteers and campaign workers for him. But because he wasn't cut out of GOP central casting, they had to do a whisper campaign on him. Ironically, John used to be the communications director for a U.S. senator named George Allen, who apparently used the wrong nickname on a reporter he talked to, and they did him in on it. Character assassination. Had anything George Allen ever done made him look like a racist? No. One nickname that was out of place that we have no actual references to where it came from, didn't matter. He was done. Presidential, Senate, all of it, done.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Now, don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Would your car perform better with premium gas or regular? What do octane ratings mean? I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor, your automotive prescription, right after this.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Today's modern vehicle, whether it's a car, SUV, or light truck, is designed with a specific fuel in mind. Read your owner's manual. What octane rating does the vehicle manufacturer call for? That's what you should use. But there are exceptions to the rule. Many high-end or luxury vehicles call for premium or higher octane fuel. And the reason for this is not just due to the octane rating. There are better fuel system cleaners in premium fuels. Gasoline companies know, too, that vehicles that run on premium won't perform as well with carbon deposits. So they pack more cleaning power into their premium fuels than their regular blend. If you rotate your fuel choices around, say, every third tank full, you may find better performance and miles per gallon because you are cleaning your engine and fuel system while you drive. Just don't tell your mechanic you're trying to replace them anytime soon. With your automotive prescription, I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor. See you next time.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently 54 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today. Very nice, 77 degrees out there. All right, it is that time. It is time for your daily dad jokes. That's right. Make you laugh, sigh, maybe roll your eyes. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Got one sent in here from Stephanie. Stephanie actually sent in two. Thanks, Stephanie, for doing that. She's like, I got you. I wrote her back, and she's like, yeah, I got it. I got you. Something for you. Happy to contribute to the cause. All right, here we go. This one she sent in for me. She said, it says, my wife told me to take the spider out instead of killing him. We went out, had a few drinks. Nice guy. Turns out he's a web designer. That's pretty good, Stephanie. Thanks for sending that in. My wife told me to take the spider out instead of killing him. We went out, had a few drinks. Nice guy. Turns out he's a web designer. All right, there we go. That was a good one. She sent this one in too. I saw a snake that was 3.14 meters long. I think it was a python. Kind of a visual joke. Pi is the symbol for pi. But yeah, that's a good one. I saw a snake 3.14 meters long. I think it was a python. That's fantastic. Thanks, Stephanie, for that one. And Luke sent this one in. Luke, thanks for, or no, that's not Luke. This is Nick. Nick sent this one in. Let's see. I can't wait to give my childhood toys to my kids. Let me start that one again. I can't wait to give my childhood toys to my kids. It's a great way to pass on my legacy. Oh, okay. Even though he's not here, apparently producer Adam, a fan of the Legos. Yeah, I can't get. All right, let's try that again. I can't wait to give my childhood toys to my kids. It's a great way to pass on my legacy. And that's your KAHI Daily Dad Jokes. I almost said your KAHI weather. Focus in, Chris. That's your KAHI Dad Jokes here for this Wednesday, May 7th. We'll be back with more right after this.
Get your yard ready for summer with help from PCWA. We can help you save on WaterSense labeled smart sprinkler timers and sprinkler system upgrades. We can even help you transform your boring old lawn into a beautiful water-wise landscape. And for customers receiving canal water, we're offering rebates of up to $1,000 for untreated water storage tanks. Check out all the ways PCWA can help you save at pcwa.net/rebates.
Wednesday weather forecast is calling for spring sunshine with temperatures very close to 78, 79 degrees. Southwest wind about 10 to 15. Mostly clear overnight, 50 to 55, very light winds. Looks like the dry spell is going to last into Thursday and Friday. Mostly sunny skies, warm temperatures. It'll be in the 80s each day. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
At Sunrise Natural Foods, those 55 and better save 15% every Wednesday, and everyone can save on hundreds of products throughout the store every day. Save 25% on all Buried Treasure products, 30% on all new Chapter products, and 30% on all Now products. These are just a few of the everyday savings you'll find at Sunrise Natural Foods in Auburn and in Roseville, or at sunrisenaturalfoods.net. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to have your KAHI news. We'll have more events for the calendar. Probably take some time for a mental health minute. Lots coming up. Stay tuned. We're going to head back now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
First thing today on the Talk Media Network by Joe Thomas.
It is time for our sports director, Mac McDonald, to open his notebook for us this morning. Brother Mac, how are you doing, sir?
Well, it's one of those days, where I could be here probably all morning talking about the news and stuff. Are you ready for more Shedeur Sanders stuff? Of course. It's one of those things. A notable member of his entourage, a guy by the name of Boogie Knight.
No, that's not really his name.
No, that's his name.
No.
Okay. Is unhappy that the fact that Cleveland Browns gave him number 12 instead of number 2 because Shea's number in college, which did get retired with that amazing 13-12 record he piloted, was taken by wide receiver DeAndre Carter. And Carter signed a 1-year deal, and Boogie, member of the Sanders media team who spends his days filming his son and then showing him all this stuff anyway, said the camp knew it was coming, but they're not happy. Okay, if that's not enough, all right, an unidentified fan who used the pseudonym John Doe, okay,
wow,
original,
where did he get that
filed
idea?
a lawsuit against the NFL in a Georgia federal court on Friday, seeking $100 million in punitive damages over the emotional distress and trauma that was inflicted on him when Sanders fell to the 5th round in the draft.
Oh, my
The
gosh.
fan described himself in the complaint as a dedicated fan of Colorado football. The man claims the NFL violated the Sherman Antitrust Act and accuses team owners of working together to influence the drafting process. Well, how long is that?
This is no. I'm fascinated by this one. This one really has piqued my curiosity. I want to see this one play out.
All right, just to show you that we don't horse around during the notebook section. Sovereignty is not going to run the Preakness. And when Bill Mott, who is the Bill Mott, the trainer, when he was interviewed, they asked him, well, is it on to the Preakness now and the second leg of the Triple Crown or whatever? Bill Mott goes, well, we'll look at it. We'll see. We'll try to, and I said at the time on Saturday, I said, I'm not so sure he's going to run the Preakness. Anyway, I said it to myself.
It happens a lot.
Okay,
so I mean, it does happen with these Kentucky Derby winners frequently. That
you beat them up. And I don't mean beat them up, but I mean you run them, train them. You try to do everything you can. You just don't want, you're talking about horses that are worth a lot of money, especially after the Derby win. Okay, not that we've had enough of Stephen A. All right, Stephen A. Smith has done 49 episodes of General Hospital. Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
Some character named Brick, a surveillance expert for the mob. He had a couple of years ago, 8-9 years ago, he was making a cameo. He was himself, and then he ended up appearing on so I don't pay much attention to soaps, and especially General Hospital, but yes, Stephen A. has some serious dialogue.
Brick, thought you were overseeing things on the West Coast.
Wasn't a problem to fly out. Deal's important. And it's a good thing I came, because Sonny's been delayed. Family matters. You know what it is. He shouldn't be too long, but I'm here. Just in case. You were with Sonny when he was ambushed. What's your take on the shooting?
He was a pro. He only missed the first shot because I saw movement out of the corner of my eye.
So, ex-military?
Almost certainly.
But a ghost.
Okay.
Wow, I'm gonna have to move my nap time to.
Well, because here's the deal. This is a setup for this. Stephen A. is going to be on Law and Order tomorrow, and they haven't released the episode. I don't know, but one of the writers named Pam Wessler approached Stephen A. and said, would you be interested in being on Law and Order? And he said, absolutely, I'll do that in a heartbeat. So he is a tough love sports agent, and he gets stabbed to death. So he is the
He's
victim.
The victim. Oh, okay. Those are the best cameos back in the back in the Lenny days and the Jack McCoy days, the early days, the good days. That was always the best cameo. Was whoever the big star. If you wanted a big star on Law and Order, but you didn't have the money for it because Wolf didn't have the money at the time,
right?
You'd get him to do, even without dialogue, just walking down the street, and it'd be some A-list star like, oh, was that Brad Pitt? Got mugged, and it is never seen again. It's like Kevin Costner's role in The Big Chill. He's laying there. Costner was the one that was in the coffin, right? In The Big Chill.
Right.
There you go.
That was his first.
Today on Movie Talk with Joe and Mac. Sorry.
I know. He was, Kevin Costner was afraid. He always talked about that and said, he jumped at the chance and said, look, maybe I'll get my,
they
my
took
foot
his
in the door.
out.
So.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway,
so
I know I hyped and talked a lot about DeAndre Hunter and Ty Jerome, teammates, with the Minute and everything, teammates of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And So they lost again last night to Indiana. By the way, a long time ago, and a lot of people wouldn't even remember this name, but he's a longtime friend who I lost connection with, who I'm going to talk to today, Wayne Schutz, who was George Welsh's first big quarterback. Who also wore number 12, by the way. But anyway, Shooters he's the Southeastern Conference rep for the Orange Bowl, and has been on the Orange Bowl committee for a long time. And Shooters just a longtime friend and real estate with his uncle, and he's just a great guy down in Miami. And we haven't talked for a long time. So anyway, we're watching the game last night, and where Indiana comes back again, and he said, "God," he goes, "Can you believe that?" And I just texted him and I said, "Yeah, Rick Carlisle's a pretty good coach." Well, anyway, if that wasn't enough,
another UVA guy, right? It's all UVA all over the place.
Oh, I know, and because guess who? Halliburton hit the game winner because Ty Jerome fell for a step back and didn't even get close to Halliburton's three after the missed free throw. And so Ty Jerome got scorched. Maybe he thought he was still in the,
ACC tournament.
The Tony Bennett defensive, pack line, and just didn't make the play. But Halliburton just, torched him. So, but Halliburton then, and he's probably going to get fined by the NBA. There's this move that sometimes players make that, let's see, how do I put this delicately? There's a move like it's not the throat slash. It's not violins. It's not Stephen Curry, who, by the way, strained a hamstring last night. It's not the good night move. It's a move where you cup your hands between your legs, showing you have the stones to be able to hit shots like that. I guess that's as delicately as
and he's getting fined for that.
Well, that's a move that's been banned by the NBA, and so Halliburton pulls it off last night after he hits
there's an NBA player that's got the testicle fortitude, Mac, to make that shot in a tough spot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So anyway, with all that going on, he's probably going to be fine. But Halliburton now with his dad, his dad sitting at home going, "Okay, Tyrese," because he ran up against the Greek freak and said, "That's all for you." And so he's
and what I thought was interesting, there was a headline in the news wires this morning, and this is notable because for some reason the fact that there are close NBA games in the playoffs is newsworthy. Has it gotten so bad that the fact that we've had a spate of close games in the NBA playoffs in the second round is newsworthy now?
Yeah, and so Golden State without Curry goes to the locker room at halftime, and he's got a strained hamstring, and he's questionable. They don't know how severe it is, and then everybody else rallies around, and they take care of Minnesota. They take care of business just 48 hours after winning Game 7. In Houston. So, I mean, this is it's a pretty resilient bunch. To do that,
Golden
to pull
State
that off, that's a pretty
I thought they were
stuff,
done.
So.
Wasn't it like 2 years ago it was the post-mortem for the Golden State Warriors?
They were done this year. There was no way they were going to make the playoffs, and now they, but this, I tell you what, and say what you want about the NBA, and I don't follow them a lot. Yeah, I watch a couple of games here and there, but I tell you what, these playoff games have been the real deal. And the officials, for the most part, let them play, and it's basically grown man football in shorts.
I still think the court's too small.
These guys are good.
Oh no, I know they're good. They're the best.
But they're really, really good, and it's been really fun to watch, and especially now you're getting your underdogs, the Pacers. Who cannot root for Rick Carlisle? Come on.
Well, he's been a great coach. He's been a great coach in a lot of places. But Golden State, they're going to be something. And when did the Knicks get good? Nobody sent me a memo for that. Anyway, thank you, Mac. You have a good morning.
Right,
Brought to you by the Lunch Pail Foundation.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Meadow Vista. Currently 55 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 75 degrees. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. Yep, Kids-A-Palooza is almost here. That's going to be tomorrow, May 8th at Regional Park. And then again, it's going to be again in the fall, but tomorrow, May 8th at Regional Park, Kids-A-Palooza. It's going to be from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Auburn Recreational District ARD with J. Ross Pirelli will be hosting the annual Kids-A-Palooza event in celebration of our students and youth in the community. They're going to be having an evening of music, art, food trucks, obstacle courses, and more. It's a whole lot of fun. Again, it's happening tomorrow, May 8th from 4:30 to 7 p.m. at Regional Park. Should be beautiful out there. That's at 3770 Richardson Drive here in Auburn. If you want to find out more, you can go to kidsapalooza.org. That's KIDZA palooza.org. And you can go out there, have some fun. There's going to be a lot of stuff out there. There's going to be a BTU Arts Sound Zoo, where students have the opportunity to explore musical instruments, an obstacle course put on by the Auburn Police Department, and arts and crafts put on by local organizations like Evangelista Community Relations. Kids-A-Palooza happening tomorrow, May 8th from 4:30 to 7 p.m. at Regional Park. That's at 3770 Richardson Drive here in Auburn. This is put on by Auburn Recreation District ARD with J. Ross Pirelli. Lots of events for the kids. There's going to be a sound zoo where they can help play with some music areas, or some areas of music. There's going to be an obstacle course by the Auburn Police Department. They can play with explore different musical instruments with the BTU Arts Sound Zoo. So lots going on. Kids-A-Palooza. You can find out more by going to kidsapalooza.org. That's KIDZA palooza.org. Back with your KAHI News right after this.
What keeps you up at night? Is it the mysteries of the universe, the secrets of history, or maybe the stories no one else dares to tell? I'm Frank Morano, and I invite you to discover The Other Side of Midnight, where curiosity never sleeps. From the fascinating to the forbidden, we tackle it all. Catch the conversation weeknights from 2 to 6 a.m. right here on the Voice of the Foothills, FM 104.5 and AM 950. KAHI, the night is alive. Join us.
And here's your KAHI News for Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Chris Quant. PG&E press release: Pacific Gas and Electric Company, or PG&E, is replacing 635 feet of 6-inch natural gas main along Highway 49 just south of Dry Creek Road in Auburn. Work will occur from May 12th to late June and take place Sunday to Thursday nights from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Work is occurring at nights to reduce traffic impacts. The outside southbound lane of Highway 49 will be closed during work hours, with the inside southbound lane fully open. The work is being done at the request of the Placer County Transportation Agency and Caltrans, which will build a pedestrian walkway. Crews will bore and trench to upgrade the gas main. PG&E has notified customers in the neighborhoods by automated phone calls. Locally produced feature film on homelessness now available for streaming. This is from the Auburn Journal. For those who weren't able to get to the theater to see the locally produced film about homelessness, No Address, the film has hit streaming platforms as of May 6th. Robert Craig Films' award-winning debut feature film, No Address, and Americans with No Address, a companion documentary, are available for digital purchase and rental, including Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Fandango at Home, YouTube, and more. Additionally, No Address is available to purchase on DVD at Walmart and Amazon. The purpose-driven purchase will benefit those it highlights, people experiencing homelessness in America, with 50% of net profits pledged to nonprofits making a positive impact in local communities nationwide. No Address, starring Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter and actress Ashanti, shares the personal journeys of individuals experiencing homelessness. This powerful and heartfelt film weaves together stories of resilience, compassion, and human dignity. It has won numerous awards, and audiences have reacted with a 98% popcorn meter score on Rotten Tomatoes. Quote, what drew me to the No Address film was its raw honesty. This film doesn't just tell a story, it gives people experiencing homelessness their dignity back, remarked Ty Pennington. Quote, the overwhelming response to both the feature film and the documentary shows that Americans are not only connecting to these stories, but also searching for a deeper understanding and real solutions to this crisis, says Jennifer Stolo, CEO and producer of Robert Craig Films. Quote, with the streaming releases, we'll reach more with our message of hope and an urgent call to action. For streaming, rental, and purchase information for the feature film No Address, visit noaddressmovie.com. Back with more news right after this.
Here's one of our local advertisers to tell you why he loves KAHI Radio.
I'm Fred Penny, managing partner of Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. Our law offices are located throughout California, and we have the opportunity to advertise across the state. We chose to advertise with KAHI. Among our other locations, we see the advantage of reaching those who matter most, the local customers, through local radio on KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the California Interscholastic Federation and the California State Athletic Directors Association.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia, and I'm thrilled to announce that I've joined the KAHI radio team. Each weekday morning from 9 to noon, I'm live on KAHI. We tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies impacting your health. The Dr. Dahlia Show is also a live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions on the air. Join me, Dr. Dahlia, Monday through Friday from 9 to noon here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
Continuing now with your KAHI news from the Morning Brew, Carney tells Trump that Canada, quote, won't be for sale ever, unquote. In a mostly friendly meeting at the White House yesterday, newly elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said that Canada will remain a sovereign country after President Trump repeated his desire for it to become the 51st U.S. state. Quote, there are some places that are never for sale. You're sitting in one right now, unquote, Carney told Trump, referring to the Oval Office. Earlier in the day, Trump antagonized Canada in a post on Truth Social, but then took a more cordial tone during the in-person meeting, even joking that his rhetoric and trade policies, which are unpopular in Canada, helped Carney and his Liberal Party get elected last month. The DOJ wants Google to break up its advertising empire. Following a federal court's ruling that Google operates an illegal ad tech monopoly, the Justice Department requested that the company be forced to sell two major products, its ad exchange and a management platform, as an appropriate remedy. Google, unsurprisingly, asked the judge for a less drastic remedy that would see the company make certain changes to its practices without having to break up its ad business. The judge won't rule until the remedy trial starts in September. Until then, Google has another thing to dread. The government also wants the tech giant to sell Chrome to remedy its other monopoly in the search engine department. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Mattel, the maker of Barbie dolls and Hot Wheels cars, warned that it plans to raise prices on some toys in response to tariffs. The Supreme Court allowed the Trump administration to implement its ban on transgender military members in a 6-3 ruling. Tesla sales continue to slip in Europe, falling behind two smaller Chinese automakers in the UK last month, Business Insider reported. And Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will forgo a chance at the Triple Crown and won't race in this month's Preakness Stakes, adding to the Baltimore race's woes after it announced it won't host its traditional infield party, where attendees used to ignore the horses, run across the tops of porta potties, and get pelted with beers. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is portmanteau, meaning a word made by combining two or more other words or parts of words. Portmanteau. And that's your K-High News for this Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Chris Quant. Back with more after this.
They said if I got drunk, if I did coke, I'd be one of the guys. They said meth would help me get through my exams.
They said synthetic drugs would give me a safe high.
They said sniffing glue was no big deal.
Totally safe.
I could party all night.
It would help me forget my problems.
He said he'd love me forever if I smoked crack with him.
They said I wouldn't get hooked after the first hit.
They said weed wouldn't lead to harder drugs.
They lied.
They lied. They lied.
He lied. Find out the truth about drugs.
Drugfreeworld.org.
Drugfreeworld.org.
Check out the Garden Goddesses here on the Voice of the Foothills Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Erlene Freeman and Cindy Davis will bring you up to speed on all the latest news and help your garden grow.
Row by row, someone bless.
It's the Garden Goddesses, Saturdays at 8 a.m. here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Want to know what's in store for your sign? Astrologer Mercury will share his insights. Do you have a favorite star? Want memorabilia to remind you about them? Got away. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. Want a happier life? Maybe all you need are the tools to get there. Not so complicated. And have you ever heard of a psychic detective? You'll meet her on Pomp Talk, Saturday 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday 9 to 11 p.m., and 24/7 at KHI.com. Click on Listen and up comes Pomp Talk, and I'll be there for you.
At Naturewoods Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like 2 sales in one. Take 10% off regular price or get 24 months of free financing with deferred payments on approved credit. Choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Naturewood. You know, the building with the water wheel. Tell them Brooklyn, Nova, and Orion sent you.
And now, a mental health minute.
That's right, it's time for our mental health minute. This mental health minute brought to us by the book I'm Awesome. Hey, by the way, you're awesome. Here is why. The title of today's mental health minute is Be Kind. Now, you'd be amazed by how much simple, random acts of kindness can uplift your spirit and help you feel fantastic. Start implementing little acts of kindness throughout the week and see how it not only makes you feel, but also how it influences the people you're helping. Now, if you're looking for some ideas on how you can do a simple and random act of kindness, and maybe you've done this in the past and it worked really great, and here's a reminder, maybe you want to try it again. But if you're looking for some ideas, here's some ideas. How about paying for the person behind you in the coffee shop line? Oftentimes, this will even trigger that person to follow suit and start a pay-it-forward chain. Yeah, that's a really great thing. Why not be the start of some change around where you're at? How about this one? Opening the door for someone next time you're walking in or out of a building. Yeah, they just do that. At the post office there where I go to, oftentimes, you see people with arms full of packages and they're thinking, oh, how am I going to navigate this door? Yeah, just simply running out in front of them, grabbing the door, opening it for them. What a great act of kindness for somebody. How about this one? Oh boy, this is tough. This goes against instincts, especially if they're like, oh, I don't know if you deserve it. But hey, giving someone extra space to merge into your lane on the freeway. Hey, that can just be a simple act of kindness that can make somebody's day. How about this one? I've never heard of this one before. Leaving money in a vending machine for the next person who wants a snack. That's a fantastic idea. What a surprise that would be. Leaving some money in the vending machine for the next person who wants a snack. How about this one? Letting someone go in front of you in a line. Yeah, that can really make somebody's day. Letting someone go in front of you in a line. Maybe it's a mom with some kids. Maybe it's just a random person that you think maybe they just need to have a boost in their day. That could be another thing. How about this one? Complimenting a stranger. Hey, those are some really nice shoes. Oh my gosh, you look great today. You look fantastic. Hope you have a great day. Complimenting a stranger. And last but not least, probably the lowest lift of all, but a great one, smiling. Just a smile for somebody can be a great thing. So for today's Mental Health Minute, we're focusing on being kind, and you can do just as simple of just giving a stranger a smile. Giving somebody a smile can help boost their day. And by the way, it'll also boost yours. Pausing now for station identification. Back with more after this.
FM 104.5, K2A3CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is Wednesday, May 7th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 8 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills, Chris Quant, with you here, holding it down in beautiful, very noisy Studio A right now. I don't know if you can hear the jackhammering that's going on outside. Yeah, they're getting real close. They're jackhammering around the studio side now. So if you hear some rattling in the background, it's rattling my nerves. Apparently, it's a great practice in keeping focus and staying on point here. Producer Sean is in the building this morning. Producer Sean, good morning. How are you?
Doing fantastic, Chris.
Did you see some of the jackhammering as you were coming in here?
I did.
Yeah, this is definitely a construction zone.
It is. It makes it challenging to get into the studio.
Yeah, I think I'm going to petition for KAHI hard hats here as we're coming in and out of.
I think it's going to be necessary pretty soon.
Yeah, they've got all the big boy tools and trucks out there. They've got the loader that's loading in the concrete that they're pulling out. I don't know how many yards of concrete they've jackhammered out and pulled out, but it is quite a bit. The Recology department is coming in and like clockwork unloading the dumpsters and putting new dumpsters out here in front of the State Theater. So lots going on at the State Theater. Cannot wait until it is all ready to go. Now, you actually, in one of the hats that you wear, you actually help out with the State Theater. Well, when it's going to be the theater again, doing a lot of technical stuff.
Yeah, I do. I do technical work such as lighting and sound.
Okay.
And I'm doing a lot of the radio shows last year, and that's what I'll be focused on this year.
Oh.
But I hear little tidbits of what's going on in the theater, and I don't know the particulars right now, but I know that the end goal is going to be a beautiful theater.
Yeah, we're going to have Christine back in here on Thursday, tomorrow, for Theater Thursday, so we'll get an update from her. But yeah, lots of construction going on, lots of things happening. They've got the sidewalks blocked off, so if you're coming around the State Theater, you're going to have to walk on the other side of the street, but they are definitely at it every day, so it's exciting to see. Do you get to have a say on any of the tech, or know any of the tech that's going to go in there when they get it ready to go?
I can provide input, but I don't have any say, true say. So,
do you think we're going to have some moving lights in there, fog machines for the concerts?
Oh, moving lights for sure. Fog machines, we'll see. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, but do you think they'll have... Are cameras a thing in there? Do they do camera? Do they broadcast anything at all that happens? Or I don't know if you can licensing wise.
In the past, I don't believe they had cameras, at least not on a consistent basis. But I know there's been conversations for the future that that's a possibility.
Boy, that jackhammering right now is, I don't know if they're coming across the microphones, but my gosh.
It's intense.
Is it forcing some concentration here? Now, you have cameras. Actually, one of the reasons you're in this week is we're testing putting some cameras here in the studio. So I've got one pointed right at my face, and then there's one up above that's kind of looking down on me. I think it's giving me, put the skinny filter on there, if you will. So also, producer Sean, technical director Sean as well. The idea is we're going to see if maybe we can get this out on YouTube as well. Folks can kind of see the magic that is Studio A.
Yeah, we're just got some details to work out, but we're trying to get it there.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So Sean's in here setting up some cameras. So folks want to, I don't know if you want to stare at this mug or other stuff that's going on here in Studio A, you can absolutely do that. But hey, as we're getting ready here, Mother's Day is coming up, by the way. Reminder for you. So get out there and for your wife. And do you have parents in the area? Do you have?
I do. They live in Old Town, actually.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Old Town Auburn or?
Old Town Auburn.
Really?
Yeah. So it's nice when there's events over there. I park in their driveway and walk down.
That's fantastic.
I've got parking, which is hard to get.
Oh my gosh. Well, the co-ops, we were just talking about the co-ops starting to come back here in May and July and September. So great. That's nice. My gosh, you just go park in their driveway?
I'm spoiled.
You are spoiled. Wow. That's fantastic. That's great. So then you can just kind of, I'm guessing, walk through some of the alleyways there and then just get right into Old Town. That's great, man. You lucky duck there. Well, that's really great. Well, Mother's Day is coming. Any plans for Mother's Day? I'm looking for some ideas. You got any
We were thinking
if your
about
family, if mom's listening, turn the radio off now. Right. But yeah, any ideas?
We were thinking about going to Lake Clementine for the afternoon.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Just got to get the reservation squared away.
Yeah, get out there, get outdoors, and take the kids outside.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, I love that. That's a great idea. So, hey, reminder, Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday. So if you haven't got something planned for mom now, if you're going to make a reservation, forget about it. It's probably too late. But make sure that you got something planned for mom. Hey, speaking of Mother's Day and looking at further on into the week and whether that was a terrible transition. That segue didn't work. As soon as it started, I knew it wasn't going to work. We're going to check in with meteorologist Tim Root to see how our weather is looking for today. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
Wednesday weather forecast is calling for spring sunshine with temperatures very close to 78, 79 degrees. Southwest wind about 10 to 15. Mostly clear overnight, 50 to 55, very light winds. Looks like the dry spell is going to last into Thursday and Friday. Mostly sunny skies, warm temperatures. You'll be in the 80s each day. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 5 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:05 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to have your Fox Business Report. Also, we'll take a look at the roadways. What is traffic looking like out there? We will find that out together. And later on this hour, sports ball, Giants, my gosh, Gigantes. If you didn't hear the Giants, how they came back in the 11th inning yesterday at the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field there. They came back in huge fashion. Some would say giant fashion. We'll talk about that here at the bottom of the hour. Back now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
Heard the expression, it ain't rocket scientist. What if you were a rocket scientist? Emily Calandrelli is on the list. Good morning. Excellent. I've always said if you want kids to be excited about rocket science, put a rocket scientist in the classroom with them. Is that oversimplifying how kids can get back into being excited about, was it science, technology, engineering, and math?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. As an aerospace engineer, as a science educator with educational TV shows and books, it is always my mission, no matter where I'm at, to try to inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers, like you said. And so I'm just excited to partner with Arm & Hammer Baking Soda because this is the 6th consecutive year that they have partnered with Odyssey of the Mind. Now, Odyssey of the Mind is this incredible organization that promotes that STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics based competitions for students worldwide. This is an organization that promotes science and engineering and art. They learn all of these different skills through these competitions. It's just such an incredible organization.
So how do people find out more about because I've heard of, certainly I don't think anyone in my industry has not heard of Odyssey of the Mind. Gosh, and it goes back a ways, doesn't it, Emily? This is not something that just popped out of somebody's head. This has been going on for a long time. I'm almost thinking that it was around when at least my kids were in elementary school.
I know that it's been around since I was a kid because I have friends who have participated in it and they still talk about it today. It's just one of those organizations that has an impact on kids for the rest of their lives because it gives them these presenting skills, these artistic skills, but also at the same time inspires confidence in their ability to do science and engineering themselves. Right. And I think it sticks with them for a lifetime.
Well, and I think the imagination, and you talk about arts, you say, well, it's science, technology, engineering, arts. Well, how does that fit in there? But if you look at, the imagination that it takes to say, we could do this. I was a fan, as many people were, of the Star Trek TV shows when I was a kid. Now, certainly we don't have all the technology, but gosh, I see enough people reaching into their pockets and talking into handheld communicators and scanning people with little handheld devices, thinking, gee, somebody's artistic questions have turned into scientific pursuits. So they go hand in hand, don't they, Emily?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, to be able to solve things efficiently, to have that innovation, it takes a creative mindset to be able to see a problem from many different angles and to be able to present a solution that works for everyone.
So what should parents be doing, especially as summer is coming? We're getting into, end of school year stuff. What should parents be doing maybe as the summer is coming around and the boredom sets in of, I don't know, what do you want to do? Grips kids, from high school on down. What should parents be trying to do?
Yeah, well, my favorite recommendation to families is at-home science experiments. I have a book series called the Stay Curious and Keep Exploring book series that has 100 ideas for those days that you mentioned where you're just like, what do we do this afternoon? How do I keep the kids busy? And this is filled with accessible materials that you probably already have lying around your house. And some of my favorite experiments, these science activities, deal with baking soda. You can make baking soda rockets, paint can rockets. And if you have really little kids, you can simply mix baking soda and food coloring and vinegar, and it creates this beautiful rainbow bubbly chemical reaction. And the reason I love this is because it instills science confidence in your own kids. Mm-hmm. It's a tactile way for them to feel like they're a scientist as they grow up.
And what about the Odyssey of the Mind? Is there a website for that?
Yeah, odysseyofthemind.com. Pretty simple, straightforward.
That's the way I like it. Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Emily Calandrelli, and actual rocket scientist. And I know my friend James, loyal listener, has done that with his kid forever. He's got actually videos up of YouTube of him and his son doing it. Latest out of Pakistan and India, no new strikes, but strikes yesterday. India striking inside Pakistan. 6 targets they said were connected to the terrorists that attacked the tourists in Kashmir last week. Pakistani defense minister said 26 people killed, 46 injured in the strikes. Meanwhile, Israeli missiles struck Houthi rebel locations inside Yemen in the area of Hodeidah a day after the missile strike at Ben Gurion Airport in Israel. Cardinals getting ready to go into conclave at Vatican City in the Sistine Chapel, where they will decide the new leader for the 1.4 billion global Catholics, and they hope to, before the weekend, be done with this. Trump administration got a victory in the Supreme Court yesterday. Justices said that his ban on transgender people in the military can continue while legal challenges go on. He met with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney in the Oval Office yesterday. When asked President Trump if there was anything the Prime Minister could say to make him back off on tariffs, he said no. Carney acknowledged it's a much bigger discussion. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, along with Trade Representative Jameson Greer, are heading to Switzerland to meet with their Chinese counterparts on a new trade deal. This will be going on for the next few days in Geneva. And those are the first things this morning. Discuss next, 434-882-4217. Talk Media Network. I'm Joe Thomas.
At Hot Shot Secret, we listen to our customers. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time. Our fans call it EDT.
I'm Nathan from Ellisville, Mississippi, and I drive a 2017 Ford F-350 power stroke. I've been using Hot Shot Secret EDT every tank for almost 3 years, and I've seen about 1.5 to 2 miles per gallon increase in fuel mileage.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:14 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lincoln. Currently 59 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high tonight. High today, very nice, 82 degrees out there. All right, let's turn it over now, as we do, to the Fox Business Report.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report. Stocks opened higher. Optimism returned to Wall Street with U.S. officials going to Switzerland for talks with China's trade representatives this weekend. The Federal Reserve wraps up its meeting today. It's not expected to lower interest rates, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be answering questions on the economy. Walt Disney shares opened 11% higher. It reported an upbeat quarter, and Disney announced a new theme park to be built in Abu Dhabi. A local partner, Moral, will build and fund the park. Disney will design it. Ford shares are up a fraction. Reuters says Ford is raising prices on some models made in Mexico starting in May. Novo Nordisk shares are up 3%. Its sales are improving after a crackdown on copycat versions of its weight loss medications. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you that Chris in the Morning really is the best way to start your day. And he's not paying me to say this at all. Wink. And yes, he really is holding it down in beautiful Studio A in the KAHI Worldwide Headquarters Studios, Monday through Fridays, 6 to 9 a.m. Chris in the Morning here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Now, where is that $3 gift card he said he'd leave me for saying nice things about him? Man, that guy's a cheapskate.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:16 a.m. Taking a look outside at our roadways right now. If you're coming 80 westbound in towards Sacramento, you're going to start to hit some slowdowns right around Greenback, coming up to the Cap City split. And if you're heading westbound over towards I-5, if you're heading out to the airport today, woof, starting to slow down around Truxell as well. And then you're going to look good for a while until you get up around 99, and then around Airport Boulevard, it's going to slow again. So if you are heading out to the airport, moral of the story is give yourself a little bit of time if you're heading out to the airport today. If you're coming back from the airport on I-5, you're going to hit some slowdowns around 99 there and going all the way down towards Sacramento. So heads up, it looks like we've got an accident. The shoulder is blocked. I-5 southbound at I-80 exit there. So we've got at the intersection there backed up. If you're headed 80 eastbound over the mountains today, it doesn't look like we have any major traffic slowdowns. You should be clear going all the way up through Truckee there. If you're headed up Highway 49, we've got one-way traffic control between Florence Lane and Lone Star Road. It looks like they're working on some stuff up over there, so heads up. Doesn't look like we have any major obstructions going across the canyon, Highway 49. Highway 50, if you're coming westbound into Sacramento, you're going to slow down around Watt Avenue. If you're going eastbound up through the mountains up towards South Lake, doesn't look like we have any major traffic restrictions at the time. We'll be back with more right after this.
At Sunrise Natural Foods, those 55 and better save 15% every Wednesday, and everyone can save on hundreds of products throughout the store every day. Save 25% on all Buried Treasure products, 30% on all new Chapter products, and 30% on all Now products. These are just a few of the everyday savings you'll find at Sunrise Natural Foods in Auburn and in Roseville, or at sunrisenaturalfoods.net. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
You don't have to go to Africa to have a wildlife adventure. The Wildlife Care Association offers adventure, challenge, and satisfaction when you volunteer to care for injured birds and small animals. The nonprofit group is offering classes now for volunteers to assist Mother Nature in returning wildlife to our communities. Visit wildlifecareassociation.com or call 916-965-WILD and get your adventure going.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment at the bottom of the hour, Sports Ball. Gigantes, the Giants come back big time in the 11th inning, if you didn't catch it yesterday. And here we found we were running into some technical snags here, getting the Giants on the air. The engineers are looking into it. They're on it. So if you haven't heard the Giants game for the last couple of days, do not fear, my friends. Like me, we're waiting with bated breath for that to be back on the air. The engineers are working on it. So stay tuned. I'll let you know when the Giants are playing again. Also, the score from last night. A's played yesterday as well. We'll let you know those scores. Lots more coming up. Stay tuned. Back now to JT in the morning.
Thank you for joining us for this Tedsday morning.
Don't you dare, don't you tread on me. Don't you tread on me.
434-882-4217. That's the phone number, and emails come into jtinthemorningradio@gmail.com. Erica Smith-Ewing is on with us, joining us for the Institute for Justice, and we're going to talk a little bit about micro schools and laws that have grown out of date regarding how we educate our kids. Erica, thank you for taking time out with us this week on Freedom and Prosperity Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Not at all. Obviously, the flashpoint of the idea of criminal parents is the dossiers, which now the Department of Justice is releasing and admitting having all of these files. FBI Director Patel showing the folders and the dossiers about parents who had been criminalized for simply speaking out at their school board meetings. But according to what I was reading that you've put together here for the Institute of Justice, it goes much, much deeper than just parents getting frustrated at school board meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. Parents right now, especially since the pandemic, are taking their kids out of public schools, and they want to educate them themselves. Mm-hmm. And that might be traditional homeschooling. It might be getting together with a group of families, and it might even be starting a micro school, which is just a small learning environment where kids can learn in new and flexible ways. It's often a small group of kids that maybe the parents were all friends, maybe they hired a teacher, but the law is making it very, very hard for these schools to succeed.
Well, and I have to say, and as an abstract, Institute for Justice, in every interaction I've had with you guys, have been an absolute godsend of a resource to those of us who say, I think it says in the Bill of Rights I'm allowed to do this. And you have stood for us so many times, and we so gratefully appreciate it. Talk about, first and foremost, how they go about doing these things. Does it start with truancy? Does it start with some arcane law about signing your kids out of school? How does a parent simply wanting to take command of their kids become criminal behavior in a lot of communities?
Well, it depends where you're at. And a lot of times it's not so much the criminal laws that are really getting in the way. It's zoning laws, fire code, safety laws.
Wow.
We've seen, this is something we've seen a lot, where you'll have a group of kids, maybe just 10 kids in one room, and the fire marshal will say, well, you need to install $100,000 of fire sprinklers before you can keep operating.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yes. Well, we see this on a business aspect, where it's job-killing regulations, over-burdensome regulations. I had no idea that it could be borne down even to the point of some parents trying to homeschool their kids in their dining room.
Absolutely. And we've seen, even in that situation where maybe you just have or 3 families, maybe they're in the garage, where they have a little table set up, you'll see zoning laws come in saying, no, you can't do that out of your home. You're running a home business, and that's illegal in this zone. So these laws are just so outdated and applied in these just not common sense ways.
Is there an intentionality to this? I've been at these supervisory meetings and these city council meetings where, I've literally heard supervisors and city councilors say, well, the noise ordinance, we can't get up to the noise ordinance to shut this restaurant down, so maybe we need to lower the noise ordinance. And they'll do it. And they'll go go intentionally and say, if we're having a problem with homeschoolers, let's make it very hard for parents to have a homeschool. Is there some of that going on, that kind of chicanery?
I think sometimes there are situations where you have a town that's very committed to their public school, and so they view any sort of innovation with hostility, any sort of competition to the public school with hostility. But I think a lot of times it's more that the government is not very good at handling new and creative things. So they don't know how to handle these schools. Are they a school? Are they a daycare? Are they a learning center? The law is not set up to deal with these, nimble and flexible new learning environments. And so as a result, the government will just steamroll right over them. So I think it's not so much intentional as, hey, government, get off your butt. Start, getting your laws to catch up with what people want and what people are doing.
Are you finding that when you get into court, or before hopefully you even have to get into court with these schools and these communities, that they realize, oh my gosh, we had no idea this was happening, or is it harder than that when you try to push back on behalf of the parents?
When you mean that they don't know what was happening?
Well, let's just say somebody comes and tries to shut down a school, and you bring up the instance and you bring up, maybe it's even through a filing, and you file papers and saying we're going to intend to, defend this, and the city or the town, either through embarrassment or not wanting the bad publicity, backs down rather than takes it all the way through the court proceedings?
Absolutely. That happens so often. But it's kind of sad when that happens. That means that a government bureaucrat is perfectly happy to steamroll over you as the parent, and you have to get a lawyer to help you. And it's only when you get the lawyer that they start taking you seriously. But so often people they don't know where to get a lawyer. They can't afford a lawyer. I mean, we're free. We're pro bono, but so many folks out there are just not sure how to handle this when the government just comes knocking and tells them to shut down.
Well, and you raise the most important point, and one of the reasons, Erica, we wanted to have you on from the Institute for Justice is to remind these law firms, and we try to highlight so many of them. IJ.org is Erica's particular flavor, are the place where that Bill of Rights gets defended. Rutherford Institute, places that will go into court with you because of the contributions of strangers, and we need to help them in every way, shape, or form possible, because the process can become the punishment if you're not careful. And we'll come back, hang on to that, Erica. I want to talk about this, but tell me you don't know the scenario. If it hasn't happened to you educationally, it's happened to you in some way. Well, I don't know, you can't do this. Our flagship city, if your home business, if you run a business out of your garage, let's just say, once you reach a dollar figure, I think it's $50,000 in income, which is not big at all for a small business, you have to move out of your garage. You cannot keep doing it, even if there's no spatial requirement for you. You now no longer qualify as a small home-based business. You have to go rent a brick-and-mortar location. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that, it sounds, well, we're just trying to protect the communities, and it winds up being weaponized against you.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month. People are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020 for a free consultation. For 16 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Battling for years and years stuck in the endless cycle of minimum payments could take decades. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020. That's 800-878-6020. 800-878-6020.
And good Wednesday morning to you. It is May 7th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:30 a.m. Hey, good morning to you. Colfax, currently 62 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 74 degrees. All right, there's a sports ball music. Let's get right into it. We're going to start on the hardwood in the NBA. We are in the semifinals right now. On the western side of the country, we had the Golden State Warriors yesterday versus the Timberwolves. Warriors win that one 99-88. Golden State leads that series 1-0 now that we're in the semifinals. On the eastern side of the country, we have the Pacers versus the Cavaliers. That's the semifinals game 2. Pacers just barely hang on to a win there. Win that one 120-119 over the Cavaliers. Indiana leads that series 2-0. Heading over to the MLB, the Gigantes Giants come back in a big form, big fashion, went into the 11th inning, tied at 5-5 with the Cubbies there. Giants started a 9-run streak there in the 11th inning. Here's how it all got started.
He lines that one into center field, and it gets down, base hit. Koss scores. Crow Armstrong, a wild throw, but Kelly comes up with it. 6-5 Giants. Patrick Bailey with a big hit.
That made it 6-5 Giants, and the Giants kept on roaring back. Came back. The final score there is 14-5. Holy bananas. Giants win that one in the 11th inning. Hey, by the way, for those that are tuning into the Giants, including myself, and you haven't been able to hear them for the last couple of days, well, turns out there's something going on behind the scenes there. Technically, we've got our engineers looking at it. They're on it. They're going to try some stuff today, so hopefully we will get the Giants back on. If not today, we've got an early game today. They're going to be playing at 11:20 a.m. this morning. Hopefully we'll have them on by Friday when they're going to be playing Minnesota. They'll be at Minnesota playing the Twins there at 5:10 p.m. So Giants, if we can get them on today, it's going to be at 11:20 a.m. today. And if not, hopefully on Friday when they play the Twins at 5:10 p.m. there. So stay tuned for more here on KAHI. Other scores around the MLB: Angels versus the Blue Jays. Angels win that one 8-3. D-backs versus the Mets. Diamondbacks take that one 5-1. A's versus the Mariners. The Mariners say we'll take the W on this one 5-3. And the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Marlins. Marlins take that one 5-4. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
This is Stephen Hill. Catch Hearts of Space, Sunday nights at 8, here on the all-new FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. The same voice of the foothills, more powerful than ever.
Wednesday weather forecast is calling for spring sunshine with temperatures very close to 78, 79 degrees. Southwest wind about 10 to 15. Mostly clear overnight, 50 to 55, very light winds. Looks like the dry spell is going to last into Thursday and Friday. Mostly sunny skies, warm temperatures. You'll be in the 80s each day. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 33 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:33 a.m. Gang, that's going to do it for me today. Also, producer Sean. Sean, thanks for being here this morning.
Absolutely. A lot of fun.
Love chatting with you. Hey, reminder, Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, everybody, so make sure you're getting ready to celebrate the moms in your life there. Until we see each other again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Theater Thursday. We're going to have Christine back from the Auburn State Theater. Maybe she'll give us an update on all this crazy construction that's going on there. They're they're cutting up the sidewalk. They're big saws are out here, jackhammers, things, big tools are happening around here. We'll keep you up to date with that with Theater Thursday until we see each other again tomorrow morning. As always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself. Remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. By the way, if it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Sean, tell the people goodbye. See you later.
Bye. See you guys tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow. Back now to JT in the morning.
Erica Smith Ewing is. We're talking about parents' choice, parents using their own efforts to teach their schools. Talk about micro schools, because I know that my wife homeschooled my daughter and a couple of other kids with their parents, and that's really small. But I've seen it grow to where there have been homeschool co-ops that use an entire floor of a church during the week for classroom space, and I guess everything in between. Is that where some of the peril can be? Is you think you're just doing something for the good of the kid, but you need to really make sure you know what the local ordinances are regarding this kind of stuff?
Yes, and especially in Virginia, where the state laws are not bad in Virginia. It's really the local laws where people are running into trouble. Maybe they're running this micro school out of their home, and like you said, it's often a bunch of like a small group of homeschoolers. Maybe it starts out with 2 or 3 families, and then they decide, hey, like let's maybe make this a little bit more formal. We can get maybe 15, 20 kids in here. We could maybe even hire a teacher, or we could rotate duties among ourselves as parents. Mm-hmm. And it might be out of a home. It might be in a church basement. It might be in like a brick and mortar shop. A lot of times it's just one classroom, just like it started in the beginning of America with one room classrooms.
Right.
But it's so hard to make sure you're in compliance with all the local zoning and building code and fire code, business licenses. It's nuts. It is so hard.
Well, and talk about business licensing and also how you transition. Well, we're just teaching kids, and how it becomes interpretive, because there is a monetary, as far as the school divisions are, every kid that leaves a classroom is a bag of money that leaves the classroom. And that's where the saltiness, I believe, comes in. And I want your opinion on that coming up. But right now, talk about that idea of it's just a bunch of people. Is it when you start paying a teacher for their time? Is it when you start renting a space? Is it when you charge a kid, for supplies? What triggers it into being a business?
Well, it doesn't even have to be a business. Like, we've seen folks run into problems, even if it's totally like no money is exchanged. Mm-hmm. This is just a voluntary group of people getting together, just a bunch of families. But even if you're not a business, even if you're not paying anybody, even if you're not a school, you're just a group, it's that these local bureaucrats don't know what you are. And when they don't know what you are, things start getting in this gray area and very tricky. Mm-hmm. They might say, there's nothing in our zoning code that mentions you, so we're going to call you a home business, or we're going to call you a school, we're going to call you a daycare, we're going to call you a tutoring center because we don't know what else to call you. And suddenly it's triggering a whole host of regulations where you might be banned, or you might need to have 3 acres in order to comply with school regulations, or you might need to have we even saw one school in Maryland that wanted to, it was for a bunch of preschoolers, and just because they happened to have this tiny little 1-inch stream in their background, little creek, the bureaucrats came and said, no, you can't have your school here, the kids could drown. This school offered to have a full they offered to have a full-time lifeguard come in, and they still said, no, I'm sorry. So it's just, it's just no common sense, and just taking people's basic freedom away to educate their children.
Now, I have friends who have actually properly started a school. They started it in their house, and then it grew to the point where they actually found a closed public school that they purchased and opened, and then even were able to buy some of those minivan school buses. It grew so much. And this is the thing that I think frightens the paradigm of public schools, is without their permission, without any sort of clearance, without any licensing, this school grew like a weed, like a kudzu plant, and they couldn't do anything about it by the time it was there. It was too politically volatile. Luckily, it was in a conservatively represented area anyway, so there was little urgency or interest outside of some of the other supervisors to try to do something about it. But there are over 100 kids in this school now with multiple teachers, all who are happier than they've ever been before in teaching. And I feel like this should be a documentary on Netflix, how to do it. But you see what I mean? I see how these bureaucrats can overreact, saying, "Whoa, we can't let that metastasize." People start thinking they can all do it.
No, it's true. The public schools hate it. They hate competition, and we've seen that with the school choice movement and the educational choice movement and all these scholarship programs that give people a way to get out of the public school. They hate it. We've been working with one very successful micro school in Arizona